something new. Let's start the podcast show with something puzzling, like whatever you're looking at.
I'm going to just put on screen text, but it's like in like the Enigma, like the World War II Enigma machine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Scrambled, and that's the intro. And it's just silent for 5 seconds while you decipher it. And then we just start talking.
Are you going to give anybody...
Like, what the hell does that say?
Okay, so just... You're not going to even hint.
I'm going to just look at you.
This has anything to do... That this is an encrypted message, or that you need...
Just a bunch of letters.
Just the fact that there's... The Enigma machine is enough.
No, it's just letters.
Oh, you don't even have a picture of the machine up. It's just...
Letters. You figure out...
It's just an encrypted...
Yeah.
With no...
Actually,
hints.
it'd make me feel better if that encrypted message...
It's a cipher.
That cipher, once you decipher it, is still a scrambled message that you have to put into another...
Sort of a double layer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's diabolical.
Thank you. And actually, it never means anything. I just put it on the screen to piss people off.
And that's how we welcome people to the
United Front show podcast. I don't know.
Where you only get to see one of us.
Yep. I'm actually talking to a robot.
You know, I actually did change my handle on Twitter.
I'm looking at a Neuralink monkey right now.
So, is that a picture of me?
You? You're the Neuralink monkey. You changed your thing?
Yeah, I will have a Twitter handle to give you this week.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
Whoa, we're living in the real world.
Well,
hold on, let me scroll through all 438 bots that follow me. To the real people that follow me. Haha, you followed it. You did change it. So I can...
You see that?
I can put you up there.
Yeah. Dr. David Benjamin. Right. I need to take away the pictures because that's old stuff. So I need to update that. And I probably need to pay Elon some money for a blue check mark
you
to be one of the cool
also
kids.
Probably need to tweet more.
Annually isn't often enough. If you look at the dates.
Oh my God. December 29th, 2021, March 3rd, 2022, March 30th, 2023.
I've tweeted 3 times in 3 years. Twitter, a place where we all come together to tear each other or to rip each other apart.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start to talk about some things.
Pretty funny. I love it. Okay.
I will need some advice on how to use Twitter.
How to tweet?
X. Yeah.
I
mean, what should I be?
So usually
if I reply to somebody, like if I reply to your tweet, somehow, will that then be one of the things on sort of my main feed, or I have to look at replies?
No, it's there.
So if I just reply to something you said, it still comes up as one of my sort of main things. I thought that only showed like reposts or like original.
Maybe I
am
a dummy.
I guess I could just go look at another page.
Oh,
and see.
No, it does not come up. Yeah.
So yeah, but that's a part where I want to play around with that a little bit.
Just do both.
So yeah,
just do both.
I'll do both, and then you tell me what's showing up when you look.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, we're already rolling.
Yeah,
so
welcome back. Handles on the screen. Boom.
Oh, your
social media.
Is this how? That's what it goes up first. Okay, good.
I could put it first. Yeah.
Good. Well,
like, follow, subscribe, call to action.
I'll probably be the one on the bottom.
Subscribe to make me some money one day. That's the only reason we do this, is we want to be rich.
Yeah. We're not doing this.
I'll buy Twitter.
Oh, and you'll go back to Twitter. We could just start like a Kickstarter or something.
Yeah.
To buy back Twitter.
We could. We might get sued by Elon. That's good, though. That's good publicity. Then we're going to get some subs. And then we'll make real money. And then we'll really buy Twitter.
I'll make those notes, have the attorney look into the logistics of buying back Twitter.
I got $20.
Crowdfunding.
And he does not want to own Twitter. And it's not X. I will never call it X.
I also won't. It just doesn't... to stake the claim of just a letter. now.
You can't copyright
So
it.
there's only
and the logo.
and X is one of the
I
coolest
think
letters.
they
Let's be honest.
they changed it when they first used the logo. It was just a font letter X. It wasn't even like a custom. It was just a
It
font.
was like Helvetica or something.
Yeah, and then he just clicked X and he was like,
Yeah.
at a board meeting, just silent, and then did some stupid dance, or jumped up and down like a 5-year-old.
I can't wait until there's a day when we have some instant AI where that'll kind of automatically pop up on the screen when you say it.
I know, right? It's called an editor.
That'll be, yeah, I know. But there's going to be some AI thing where I'll be able just to say some words and I'll have a video that pops up and then I'll be able to say, no, but less of this and more of this, and it edit it. And
Live editing?
Yeah, like live speech to edit.
Oh, I got you. Probably eventually.
No, I think that's like next year.
Quite complicated.
That's like 20. Yeah, I know, but
I don't know if I trust humans to develop that.
I cannot see that going beyond 2026 before that's available. I can already do it now with text. With
Well, actually,
speech
we're going to come back to this topic.
Oh, okay.
For
All
one of
right.
our topics, AI art. That lumps into AI art.
I've got number one on here to talk about Clay Higgins.
We do have one Clay Higgins. So representative out of,
Yeah, let's get right into it.
let me just confirm, but I'm like 99% sure he's the representative of Louisiana. Yeah, Republican out of Louisiana.
I can find some deets on that.
Yeah,
but go
while you're
ahead.
pulling that up, I'm going to read his tweet. We might get banned for reading it.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, we might.
On YouTube.
Just on the internet. So, this a few days ago. I'm sure some people have seen, although it hasn't blown up like I thought it might, which is kind of unfortunate. So, AP article goes out titled,
What day?
this is 3 days ago.
3 days ago.
So the 26th. Haitian group in Springfield, Ohio files citizen criminal charges against Trump and Vance.
Haitian
Group.
citizens group from
Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield, Ohio, files a lawsuit.
Criminal charges.
Oh, how does somebody
Files citizen criminal charges. I don't know. Citizen.
weird?
Now that you've said that, I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, what actually is that? Because that's not like the state of Louisiana has filed charges against something. That sounds like some group.
Oh, the leader of a nonprofit representing the Haitian community has invoked a private citizen right to file charges against former President Donald Trump and his running mate JD Vance.
Okay, got it. So there's some statute, probably some old statute
That allows them to bring
a
forth a
person-
criminal charge.
citizen's arrest kind of a situation.
Yeah, I think we're here. Anyway,
All right, but still though, they're raising a bunch of stakes
he
about it.
screenshots this, tweets out LOL, period. So he's a boomer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the whole tweet. That's the crime. No. LOL, these Haitians are wild, eating pets, voodoo, nastiest country in the Western Hemisphere, cults, slapstick gangsters.
Wow.
But damned if they don't feel all sophisticated now, filing charges against our president and VP. All these thugs better get their mind right and their asses out of the country before January 20th.
Oh, that was this tweet. I heard about the end of this tweet. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Let me just
go down.
Let me just drop a note. Legal immigrants. All these people have immigrated here legally.
Legal immigrants. Yes.
They've all immigrated legally.
Mm-hmm.
So, his issue is that they're black.
Yes. It sort of sounded like.
And
that
then
was the
just
implication.
add every slur you wish to add in your mind.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking.
Probably.
He doesn't use the word black. I'm going to leave it there.
Probably.
He doesn't say black.
Yeah.
He says something else.
Yeah. Wait.
I don't know that for sure, but I'll bet a lot of money on it.
Okay.
No way he just, behind closed doors with his friends,
Yes.
says black.
Right.
That doesn't happen.
He probably has another word for it.
I haven't seen, I'm going to hit all on Google just to confirm. I haven't seen, I answered my own question. Mike Johnson,
Speaker of the House.
Leader of the Republicans,
Yes.
defends Clay Higgins.
Yes. I saw that.
So I'm just now seeing this.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even have that pulled up.
Yeah.
So the Republican Party at least in the House of Representatives, has officially condoned racism.
Well, so
I-
here's how I think it played out: is Speaker Johnson, he went on to like he had a little like news thing, like a
Little press conference thing,
like
yeah.
a presser. I think that day, the same day that tweet came out, or maybe the next day, and he said, "I've spoken with Higgins, and he's remorseful." I'm kind of
Paraphrasing,
yes. So I'm
Oh, right here.
what? Okay,
He prayed about it. He regretted it.
He prayed about it.
And he pulled down the post.
and he pulled down the post.
But he also said he's a very frank and outspoken person, but he's also a very principled man. This doesn't sound like
Well, he has his own version of principles.
you can sure. So you can say something along the lines of like, I don't think this man is a racist man.
Yeah.
But in no world is this tweet okay.
Weird.
I like if you want to defend him, you say something like, I don't think Clay Higgins has any personal issue with any group of people.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And his tweet is not okay.
Okay.
But he's taken it down and he's regarded it and he's trying to move forward with it. But he just says, no, he's a good guy, actually. He's principled, you know? What are his principles? White people are the best.
So
Get those
can I just
out of the country.
I can
Um,
I can probably
what would
I'm going to let you continue to vent about this for a second.
what would
because
Woodrow Wilson say, or like a early 20th century KKK member say?
I mean, how much?
And then how similar would it be to what
Right.
Clay
I mean, I
Higgins says?
just think it would be different words.
I think it just
but-
might be a slur in there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really the only thing that's different. But I don't know. I mean, I'm going to give you a perspective, and it's really gonna it's
Gonna blow my
it's going to
my
knock
mark.
your panties off. I'm
Well-
I'm gonna yeah. I mean, it's like it's a perfect thing for you to sort of understand. I think
Okay. Let's
where
hear
it comes from. So
his racism.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that this is how it played out exactly for him, but you have some feelings about this. I can see that.
I think it's racism. I think it's just racism.
Okay, yeah. I
That-
mean, I
that's-
agree with you.
I don't know if that's like in his brain. He's thinking, "I'm racist. I'm typing this tweet out."
I'm gonna.
It's certainly inspiring his motives.
Okay, so let me go on a little adventure with you for a second about Clay Higgins.
Defending a racist.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not definitely.
I was gonna unplug your mic if you
Yes.
weren't that way.
Well, you do have.
I can reach it kind of.
Yeah, this is an authoritarian run podcast.
I just pull a
so you
giant
know.
hammer out, just start smashing shit.
Yes. Mute. All right. So let's do maybe a deep dive into Clay Higgins. Okay. So that may help you understand.
You have some stuff pulled up.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is going to bring us straight into our next point, into the reaction video.
Perfect.
So, but first, let's explore Clay Higgins a little bit. So this is, I would say, inarguably, kind of a racism motivated,
Certainly racism motivated.
tweet,
For sure that.
kind of stance,
Yeah.
kind of like attitude. It's
Pretty
just
among all the comments made about Springfield, Ohio, one of the worst ones.
yeah.
Actually,
Okay, I'll say it like this: if it's bad enough that like the most powerful men in the Republican Party, like Speaker Johnson, said you need to take that shit down, and he took it down, and then they spun some little line like he said some prayers and it's all okay,
some whatever.
but whatever. But I guarantee you, behind closed doors, it was probably not pleasant. I'll bet
Yeah.
whoever the Republican bosses are said, you better take that down right now, and
Yep.
you're going to apologize. And he probably said, yes, sir.
Is it because they're morally principally against it, or bad optics?
It is bad optics, obviously.
Which one's the primary motivator?
Uh,
My primary motivator would be like,
this close
hey,
to an
racist.
election. This
hold on,
close to an
is there
election,
issue? Hey, racist, take the racism down, or hey, bad optics, take the bad optics down.
take the bad optics down.
Okay, just
like
saying.
like I think that's
I
the
mean,
main. That's the main
yeah.
driver.
Yeah.
Like, this is
I'm just
everything's in public.
I'm just
So
trying to
everything
condemn the
is about-
Republican Party at every chance I get.
I mean, everything is about optics first, but the reason that the optics are bad is because it was a racist tweet.
Yeah.
So if the Republicans said, "Whoa, bro, that's too racist. You have to take that down."
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
all right. So but for some reason he was pissed off enough that day.
Real inspired. Let me have my tweet pulled up again,
Mm-hmm.
just so I can see it. Okay, I got it. Yeah, continue.
So Clay Higgins, and probably many, many other members of the House, the Senate, running for office, might have a story similar to this. So he was born in 1961.
Boomer.
So, yeah, but you're thinking about what he is now. But here's what I want you to think about.
Okay.
I want you to think about what he was when he was 10 years old. Because that's a time in a boy's life when he's really
1971
Yes. So I want you to think about the world.
in the 70s.
He was born in New Orleans and lived in Louisiana.
in New Orleans.
Yes.
That's a pretty progressive racially like town, like the most in the country.
He was born in 1961.
Even then.
Not really.
Well, consider the rest of the South. New Orleans was
Agree.
the best. Now, I'm not saying it's good,
Agree.
but the best. I mean, if you're going to be in the South,
Yes.
that's your best shot
So he was born in 1961
in the South,
In the South.
deep South,
Deep South.
the Bayou.
Obviously there was a lot of things happening culturally.
Brown v. Board happened a few years before that.
Everything was
All
happening.
the civil rights acts were happening. All the boycotts.
Who was the president in 1961?
That would have been JFK, right?
And what kinds of stuff was he thinking about in his first year? For sure.
Oh, he was trying to do some civil rights act stuff.
Tell me about MLK.
Martin Luther King.
There's a lot of action happening around
Martin
this.
Lucifer.
What was going on with schools in 1961?
They were being forcibly integrated after Brown v. Board.
So there's a lot of tension in the
The
world.
South was unhappy.
Gotcha.
The
Thank
South
you,
was
thank
unhappy.
You, thank you. So I want to put you back where this kid was, a 10-year-old boy in Louisiana. What he was growing up.
71,
he was a white kid, so he was on that side. And that's how he grew up. Imagine what his dad was like. Who knows?
Real, probably rough.
Probably even worse. So now I'm going to have you think about the fact that at 18 years old, he enlisted straight into the military police corps of the Louisiana National Guard. That was his first
Job.
His first move after high school is I'm going straight military. Okay?
So an MP,
And he served for 6 years.
An MP in the Louisiana National Guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he went straight in. And then after that, he became a manager of some car dealerships and et cetera, et cetera. But eventually he ran for office.
He doesn't give very car dealership.
So
kind of
yeah.
guy.
So anyway, but so I'm gonna have you react to something from 1971.
Okay.
Okay.
Did this video coincide with Clay Higgins and Inspired, or is
Just put that to the side for a second. Your laptop to the side, and I'm gonna hand you this laptop, and you can just hit play on here.
how long should I watch to the end?
This is gonna be about 9 minutes.
Okay. Well, perfect.
So there's gonna be a stop.
And I will be pausing and commentating because stealing 9 minutes of content is not a thing you can do.
Yeah, we're not gonna steal 9 minutes of content.
Cannot do that.
You can skip ahead and do whatever. So we're not going to do that, right? So here's what this is. Here's what you're about to react to.
What was happening in 1971?
Think about what was happening in 1971.
Well, I mean, I know all of like the most famous civil rights era stuff already happened.
So we're now integrated.
Schools are integrated.
We're supposed to be.
You're not allowed to be racist when you
Well,
do anything. Like they've made it crimes to make all this explicit. Now, how well that's going, not great, but it is federally mandated.
right. It's basically all the same players as a decade ago.
Yeah, no one's different. Just the rules have changed.
You got it.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden we're going to say, okay, now we're going to live in like an integrated kind of way. Well, obviously that's something that not everybody would have accepted. I want you to think about how people entertain themselves in this year as well. So let's talk about television. because that was the way. I'm just gonna roll you back
Bring me
for
back.
a second in time.
I was not alive for the 70s.
Right. So I was alive for a time that was close to this. I remember watching this show, but not live.
Uh-oh. This is going to be interesting.
Because I wasn't even born yet when this aired originally. So, but I grew up in a time where like the TV was all there was.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Also in Florida, not quite the same, but also the South. So not like in New Hampshire.
Sure.
Or New York City.
Yeah, but like everybody watched ABC, CBS, NBC, and
watched this show.
Right. It would have been like we would have picked a channel. Either we're going to watch the Waltons or All in the Family, right? Or right. So there's like
one of the three big shows
right.
kind of
And
going
it's
on.
like, no, I don't want to watch the Western. I mean, there was nothing to pick from. There
not
were like
much.
3, 4 there was like no shows to pick from.
Yeah, not much.
Like almost nothing. So
I can't think of any like gigantic thing that was happening in 1971.
So, well, yeah.
Other than like the day-to-day shit or whatever, but not like MLK wasn't speaking at the Washington Monument.
Unions and union stuff was a big deal in the 70s. And we were beginning a tech shift. That's when
the oil crisis was
computer-
happening.
Yeah.
The oil crisis was happening.
Yes, oil was an issue.
Yep, that happened. Was
there a war going on?
Vietnam? Was that still happening? I don't know exactly that was happening.
Guess the years.
1912, no.
So
60, late 60s to like early 70s.
yeah, I think that's when it really like geared up. So
Like
Vietnam War officially November 1955.
that was the Vietnam War, but I'm talking about like our
involvement. So
yeah.
yeah, obviously the direct U.S. military involvement ended in 1973.
Okay.
So think about it. There's an unpopular war.
For a while.
It's been going on for a long time and people are not into it. So that's what's, imagine what's going on in the world,
This is the whole thing of like
inflation.
the make love, not war.
Yeah, the peaceniks were born out of this, for sure. That's where
the culture was shifting.
Yeah, it was, the beginning of a counterculture.
The culture was shifting a lot this
right.
time.
It was
that
was
I
a
know
lot
that.
of things. Right. So, but naturally, the peaceniks are the people that were the open-minded ones.
Yeah.
As a part of our culture, the people that were into progress culturally and peace on earth and all that, as opposed to something that's so strict and conservative.
Yeah.
So
these would be the boomers, no?
These are the boomers now.
Our boomers.
Yeah, these are our boomers nowadays.
So
who we're talking about is just any classic example of somebody born in 1961. So this is a 10-year-old boy, Clay Higgins, or anybody.
10-year-old boy in
he's just a
1971.
stand-in, so his life might be something like this. Is all we're saying here. So, but he would have had just a few. All right, so he wanted to be in the military because he did that at 18 years old.
Yep.
Right. So, but
maybe his dad was or something.
So he was he's into the war and all of this stuff, but he would have watched a TV show once a week. And in this case, it's reasonable to assume he probably watched this. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. But this was the #1 show on television when it came out in 1971.
I have no idea what show this could be.
It's called All in the Family. One little thing, this is a note between me and you. We saw the chair that's in this show at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C.
Really?
I'm going to pass the video over to you, and you can just hit play on the
Okay.
big screen there and get that mic. So just you react and pause as you want to. I'm going to watch. I'm going to sit back and watch.
Okay. Me have my moment here?
Yeah.
Oh, can I hear it? Is that allowed? Am I allowed to hear it?
Mm-hmm. All the way up.
You are at 5 minutes. Is that okay?
Let's make sure. No.
You want to go like 3 something.
We want right there. Right.
And we're going to do about 9 minutes, right?
Yeah.
This is the most...
You'll know when it'll there'll be a point where
This is the most spiritually 70s set I've ever seen.
Mhm.
I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. Oh, pause it for a second.
Yes, sir.
I don't really need to introduce characters. It doesn't really make much difference. This is the pilot episode. So this
I
is,
saw that. This is number one.
Okay, so this is the first
This
episode.
is how they open, get all the viewers in. This is their hook.
You got it.
What a different time.
Yeah.
What a just wild, just a note.
Mhm.
Just so odd.
But that was the world.
Years you've been to church with me, so I'm grateful for the half a sermon we sat.
Everything's brown. A little sad. Do they invent color yet?
Only brown.
Only brown. Brown and gray.
I've been to church in the morning 4 times in 22 years, too. Maybe it's 6 times, 7, if you want to include the time we was married in church. What?
Turn on the captions.
Yeah, I need it. I cannot understand this 70s English. Is this English even they're speaking?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
A World War III out of this. What do you call all this? The table's all set with the good glass.
Wow. Colorful little set on the table.
For our anniversary. Look on you.
So this is the world. Like, this is a caricature of the world at the time. At least the U.S. kind of in a way. Or part of the U.S.
You made us a brunch. What? A brunch. Oh, brunch. It's free. She's reading Cosmopolitan.
This is interesting. Okay. Great mustache. Great mustache.
So are you. We're just gonna go sit down over there. Yeah, Fred. 11:10 on a Sunday morning. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary.
This is so. What am I getting out of this? Help me.
Keep going. It'll be plainly obvious.
When it happens?
Just watch the
Okay.
episode. Just don't analyze every word. Just
Okay.
watch the episode.
Okay, I'll watch. How long am I watching for?
Take like 6 more minutes.
Okay, until it hits me.
You'll see.
Ain't this nice?
Okay.
5 minutes more, we would have got it removed from the bedroom. Mom, would you tell him it's normal? Oh, Archie. Why do you want to pick on him when you just had such a nice surprise? They was the ones that had the surprise. Used to be the daylight hours was reserved for the respectable things of life. What are you talking about?
Uh-oh, it's about to get interesting.
Beat off that train. My day, we was able to keep things in the proper perspective.
Suspective. What does that even mean? I actually don't even know what he's.
Perspective is what he meant to say,
Oh.
but he's just,
Okay, so it's intention. Yeah,
he's not that bright.
that's the joke. I'm making sure there isn't some like lost 50-year translation of a joke.
No, yeah, he's just not that bright.
We was going around together. It was 2 whole years. We never. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing after the wedding night. Yeah, and even then. And here we are. We have the orange juice in here, and then we go in there for brunch. My, how fancy. All right, leave it there, huh, Cosmopolitan? Oh, Daddy, stop it. I think it's very.
What is the Cosmopolitan?
Right. The incredible.
Magazine.
Just a magazine thing.
One room anymore. That's what they say. You're a pip, you know that? A real pip.
You're married 22 years today, Daddy, so talk real nice to Mom, okay?
Listen, little girl, you just go on and mind your own beeswax, huh? And pull that skirt down. Anytime you sit down on one of them things, the mystery's over. What the hell is it nowadays? Will you tell me girls with skirts up to here, guys with hair down to there?
I think it's
I
starting.
stopped in a gents room the other day, so help me there was a guy in there with a ponytail. My heart nearly turned over me. I thought I was in the wrong term.
A guy with a ponytail.
Just a guy with a ponytail.
That's all it took.
Just a guy with a ponytail. I think we're starting to come along to what you're talking about.
Just keep going.
World's changing. That's right. That's what the Rev
Oh, it just pause it again. Remember, this is the #1 show on TV. More people viewing this than anything else. This is like prime time, like 8 p.m. time slot. Like
This is the
this
show.
is accepted cultural. Go.
You two should have heard him. Of course, Mr. Religion here wasn't seeing eye to eye.
What, sir? That was socialist propaganda, pure and simple. Don't give me that look.
Cold War?
So hot and easy.
I bet it was different, that's all. But I didn't curse the Reverend from right there in the front.
He never heard me. Besides, I ain't sitting still for no preacher telling me that I'm to blame for all this breakdown and law and order that's going on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We're all to blame for not paying attention to the cause of it. The cause? I'm taking the cause of it. The cause of it is these sob sisters like the Reverend Felcher and the bleeding hearts and weeping Nellies like used to. Like us?
I
Yeah.
think we better eat now.
No, wait a second. It's you. Me? Yeah, that's right. You, the property owner, with your 24-inch TVs and your 4 slice toasters, your ice making refrigerator. That's all you care about, Archie, is what you got and how you can keep it. Well, you care about it too, sonny boy, if you had anything. You wasn't living off of me without a pot to peel a potato. Wait a second. You're the one who said I could stay here while I was in school. I thought it was going to be for a year while you learned a trade or something. I didn't think you was going to wind up in college learning how to be a surveyor.
This is interesting.
Just
Okay.
let it go.
Okay. I needed to pause and
Yep, good.
I want to learn a little bit about society so I can help people. People? Your mother-in-law and me as people. Help us with you. Go to work. I know it's bothering you. You're upset because I was nailing you on that law and order thing.
uh-oh. Law and Order thing.
Now I'm going to tell you something.
Michael.
No, wait a second. I'm sorry, Laura. I know I promised, but I feel I got to say this. You know why we got to break down the law and order in this country, Archie? Because we got poverty, real poverty. And you know why we got that? Because guys like you are unwilling to give the black man, the Mexican American, and all the other minorities their just and right
Uh-oh.
share and share of the American dream.
Here it comes.
Who said he wasn't smart? That's beautiful, Michael. Beautiful.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Now let me tell you something.
Here we go.
The spits in your space want their rightful share of the American dream. Let them get out there and hustle for it just like I did. Yeah, but Archie, you're forgetting one thing. You didn't have to hustle.
First of all, call them two not great things.
No, I didn't have to hustle with one arm and one leg neither. So what? So you're admitting that the black man is handicapped? Oh, no more than me. He's just as good as me. Now I suppose you're going to tell me that the black man has had the same opportunity in this country as you? More. He's had more. I didn't have no million people out there marching and protesting to get me my job.
No, his uncle got it for him.
That's good. I like that.
All I'm saying is don't blame me. You and that Reverend Bleeding Heart Felcher up there in his ivory shower.
Now that's
Ivory Tower jokes go back this far? Like the Ivory Tower joke. That's weird.
about a man of the cloth that way. God could punish you for that.
God, what God?
Yeah, with God.
Did you hear him? Did you hear her? What was that remark, Sonny?
I think we better eat now.
I want to know what you meant by what God. It's nothing, Archie. It's nothing. You need God, so forget it.
That's no way to talk on the Sabbath, Mike.
Stifle,
That's no
Edith.
way to talk to God.
Edith, I told
I
you.
mean, Sunday is a day of peace and rest, and you a nice brunch.
Edith, will you stifle?
Archie, we're all
Will you stifle? Don't touch me.
How much more are we going? I don't want to overrun. I'm at 10:45 right now.
Yeah, that's
Kind of was the point you're trying to make.
yeah, I think so. Well, there's I think a little bit more.
We'll keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I think until the commercial.
There's a commercial. Oh,
So go along the following lines. What God, you say? And I made your wife my flesh and blood. Repeat. So let's hear it again. And what did you mean by what God? We just don't see any evidence of God, that's all.
That's right, Daddy.
That's right, kid. I knew we had a couple of pinkos in this house, but I didn't know we had atheists. Did you know that, Edith, that we had a pair of atheists under this roof?
Maybe if we could just eat a little something.
Will you stop it, you silly dingbat?
I don't want no more argument.
We are not arguing, we're discussing.
I don't care what you call it, it's still argument.
We're having what we always have around here, a discussion.
I don't
the handle around the other way.
Commercial's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right about in there?
Yeah.
You know what I think we ought to do?
What do you think?
I think we ought to eat.
Okay.
So
You need to walk because I can think and feel, but you need to walk me where you're trying to walk me.
yeah,
You need to hold my hand.
sure. So just what are your just initial reactions to that? First of all,
So
observations and reactions.
being the kind of overthinker I am of things, I'm gathering that the younger guy is the representative culturally of the younger generation,
Younger liberal.
younger liberal, and he's the representative of the older conservative
You got it.
parent,
You got it.
right?
Yep. Which is kind of just how it is nowadays.
Yep. The thing that is very odd to me, I mean, I guess I could try to explain it, but it's confusing, is how a lot of people who were talking like the younger guy talk like the older guy now.
A lot of people who
Because I know, because there's people who are that young guy who are like alive
yeah, sure.
or recently or whatever, right?
Sure, yeah. That's Rob Reiner. He's still alive.
They don't sound like that anymore.
Oh yeah, like they turned into.
They sound like the dad.
Yeah, sure.
They,
of course.
They are the dad now.
Yeah, which is the thing that you kind of hear about in that the older you get, the more
conservative
you get.
Yeah.
And I can speak to that. I mean, I like totally can, like at any point if you want to hear it.
We might have to. I don't know if it pertains to this, but let's keep going. Hold my hand. Walk me through it.
So Clay Higgins is the reason that we watched this.
Clay Higgins
And that he might have
sat around
been watching the
the
show.
TV television.
Right. So he's at 10 years old is when the number one show is out.
Mhm.
Right. So he ended up in the military at 18. So he for sure would have been I mean, he definitely wasn't like a peacenik like
couldn't have been.
the other guys. All right. So in the show, there's two heroes. There's, the guy, the young liberal guy.
Yep.
And his wife,
Yeah,
basically the
that
daughter.
couple.
That couple against Archie.
The older guy, the dad. Yeah.
That's kind of the dynamic, kind of the main one of the show there, right? It's kind of, there's like a push and pull on that, and there's all different people who come in, but that's kind of the core of it.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like two heroes or two anti-heroes, or it kind of depends on how you look at it, because Archie is, I mean, he's obviously the star. He's like the star of the show.
Yeah.
So
there's a clear dichotomy going on.
And it's like, I'm not sure if the writers wanted us, because they ham on Archie the whole time with jokes. Like,
yeah,
there are black guys who come in and they're
he
like,
is the
rolling
butt
their
of the
eyes.
joke.
Right. So he kind of is the butt of the joke, but he doesn't know he's the butt of the joke. He thinks he's,
right.
But he has a lot of the best lines, and what he says is something that's understandable to a lot of people. And, there's clearly a racist element, but what's interesting about it, he goes on either later in the episode or in a bunch of other episodes, how, he talks about how he's not racist.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely not. But even in his language, where probably you'll have to bleep out the two words that he used.
Yeah.
That's, there's, clearly the idea of a division, even though he's not even seeing that that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of why it's brilliant and why it resonated with a lot of people back then. Maybe they didn't even understand the reason that kind of, it did.
It resonated so well.
He was a character in and of himself. I mean, you can see how a guy
It's
like
a
that
caricature,
can anchor.
Yeah, that guy,
like,
that actor.
Yeah, that actor and the way that he delivers lines.
Yeah,
and
he's
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, he
got some
has-
energy.
for sure. And so Clay Higgins might be watching this show. He's on Archie's side, so he's listening to Archie, and people like Archie, and people like his dad in the South, and it's just he never exited that world. He never tried to be better. He never tried to progress, never tried to evolve. He never tried to understand the other side. He never tried to find empathy, or very high likelihood of he's just a toxic individual, like a narcissist.
Or maybe
as an
he
example, and
even-
he can't change. So
Well, I pulled up his Wikipedia page.
Mm.
I am probably comfortable saying he knows what he thinks,
Yeah.
and he's cool with the fact that he thinks that.
sure, I buy that.
There's two things here that I just have a hard time not believing that he doesn't or he isn't aware of what he thinks,
Mhm.
but he's okay with it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He showed up at 3%ers and Oathkeeper events
Yes.
as a speaker.
Yes.
So you got to have some level of what you think
I would.
and where it lands in the world, and then being cool with the fact that it lands there in the world.
Right. Yes.
Like, you don't accidentally show up to a QAnon conference as a speaker.
As a speaker, no.
You don't accidentally.
No.
You know where you're at. You know what you think, and you're cool with the fact that you're there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He found a group of people that think
So he's a
like
yeah.
that, like he does.
So he's in that sense he's a participant, not a spectator.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I think we can see what he is. It's man, like amazing. I don't know. I mean, we'll see like after, but like amazing that a guy like this can get reelected nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you think about it, like he'll probably, if he runs again, he'll probably win again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know if anything that has happened is a deal breaker for the people in his district.
Yeah.
For enough of the people in his district
Yeah,
to
no.
be ousted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It like, is the world that much different than the
And
days
then
of
Archie?
Archie Bunker in 19,
Yeah. No. I don't think. I think maybe there was
those kids
or
that
at least
watched that
or at
show
least the war
are,
has
are these people
yeah,
now.
the war has just changed.
Yeah.
It's no longer like super obvious whites only colored. Like that's not the battle anymore.
Yeah.
But that hasn't gone away.
Yeah. Well,
So, and I think a lot of it is culturally for sure, and particularly the South. The South has not gotten any better. It's taught in schools, the Lost Cause myth,
Mhm.
the War of Northern Aggression. So just making up shit
Yep.
is taught in school
Yep.
and approved by states.
Yep.
So it's like hasn't gotten any better. It's just the battlefield's got harder now. Because whereas before it was like this law says if you're black you go to jail, that's illegal.
Mhm.
Oh well, if you're this person at this time doing this thing, this here, which disproportionately affects black people.
Right.
But it's anywhere in the law does it
Right.
say.
Right. Of course. Yes.
It's now implicit, not explicit.
Yeah.
A little harder to fight that battle.
Yes.
But there are a ton of people in the world, but I live in the US.
Yes.
Ton of people in the US who are pretty racist.
Yes.
A
Yes.
ton of Americans.
Obviously there
Anyone-
are, but I think it's
Anyone
getting
who thinks
better.
racism is gone
Oh no, it's not.
doesn't.
No,
It's
no.
not even close to gone.
I don't know that anybody thinks it's gone.
There's
Yeah.
There's people who really kind of think that I'm not as bad as my dad or mom.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm like, Brian, we might be worse than your parent. It is
Yeah.
rough, particularly living in the town that we live in, the very red area we live in.
Sure.
I hear it often.
Oh yeah.
Some real like,
yeah.
whoa,
yeah,
buddy,
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
whoa,
definitely.
buddy.
Yeah, you will hear.
That's
things-
dicey.
Yeah, you will hear things like,
Jeez,
is that what? Is that where you land on this? Like,
Yeah.
that it's okay to use words like that, and
I think,
it makes you not want to be around people like that. You know what I mean?
yeah. So, am I nailing the point you're trying to get at, or am I?
Well,
you still got some more. You
No,
want me
no.
to-
This, I mean, I think you've brought it home already. It's like when he tweets out a thing like he tweeted out, just,
which I will pull back up.
which is kind of straight up, racism. I think that we can roll back the clock to an entire generation of 10-year-old boys in the South who were watching Archie Bunker.
This is worse than Archie Bunker. At least that what you showed me.
For sure. Yeah. But like stuff like that. I mean, remember, schools are now integrated.
Yeah, if there
and-
was a show with an Archie Bunker on it, it would be much more obvious
but, I mean,
that he is
but think about it.
the
I mean,
loser.
But if this is TV, this is like the
Yeah.
progressive thing. if it made it to a TV show,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it's like,
They're showing the younger
conservative, it's
guy
just
being
Western.
smarter and
For sure. I mean,
more educated.
yeah, I mean, they
yeah.
gave like a platform to just a straight up like peace loving liberal. Like,
Yeah, just straight.
here's a character that's like that is his character.
Yeah.
he's that's that's kind of
Yeah.
so it was. I mean, that's why I think the show was like a big one. So I know he watched it, and it seems like he fell on Archie's side.
For sure.
He might have even looked up to him. So if I were doing an interview with Clay Higgins, if we had him on the show,
Yeah.
you know what we should do is invite him on the show.
Invite him on the show. Yep.
And I'd like to ask Clay Higgins, tell me about what you were doing at 10, 11 years old.
Yep.
Tell me about your life. Tell me about
Yeah.
your school. Tell me about your home life. Tell me about what you guys watched on TV as a
Oh,
family.
he did double down. Just, I forgot.
Okay.
He did said, after deleting his tweet, he said it's all true.
So he deleted, but then he came out later.
He's
and
like, yeah, no, I mean, I'll get rid of it, but like, I'm not a fucking liar.
Yeah.
So, yes, I hear what you're saying. And I'm going to do a thing.
But
Okay.
he's just flat out racist, though.
I'm going to do a thing. And I'm going to prevent you from being the bleeding heart liberal in this, okay?
All right.
I'm going to pull you.
You want me to become that?
No, I don't want you to be.
Oh, okay.
Because you are that.
Yeah, I am that. Yes,
think, in a
yes,
way.
I am very much.
I'm going to battle you in this. I'm going to try to pull you.
I need a mop
in a
for my
direction.
bleeding heart.
I know. I would say that as a human, Clay Higgins deserves like a human. You have to respect a human. You know, whatever, right?
Under the law.
We're skipping that part. However, is the point now we've reached as a country that I'm supposed to eviscerate, condemn, hate, whatever your ideas,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I don't hate Clay Higgins because he's bald and wears glasses,
Yes. You hate him for what he believes and stands for and lives.
but I'm supposed to do that.
Yes.
That's what the platonic ideal is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Is don't judge a man by the character, but
Yeah, their actions.
their actions.
Yeah. Well, so
I am judging Clay Higgins
by his actions.
by his actions.
Yeah.
And I don't have to have any sympathy for Clay Higgins here. Now, if he were like tragedy and he's homeless and he's suffering, sympathy.
No, yeah. I don't
Human
have,
suffering. But
Yeah.
there needs to be no concession, even in the speech, of like, I guess we'll put it like this. Clay Higgins grew up, watched the show, maybe it influenced where he's at.
Yeah.
I would argue you very easily could have suffered the same problem.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't grow up in like
Yeah.
a miracle of like a
Nope.
utopic
Nope.
world.
I watched that show.
Yeah, you've
reruns of that show with my grandfather.
no doubt you could have very easily fallen
Yeah.
down to the same road,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's because you have some miracle gene in you that's like, actually, I'm immune to racism. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm immune.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists,
Yeah.
right? I think it is I'm sure, just like a lot of kids in the South, maybe you think a thing that's dicey. Met a lot of kids who, like, when they're little, don't totally grasp what they're saying or thinking.
Yeah.
I'm sure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then you get older and you go, ooh, not great, not hot, not the best, right?
Yep.
Now, I know you've lived in some cities, so that's helped
Yep.
you.
For sure.
That for sure has helped
For sure.
you. But were you not able to escape the trajectory
So-
that you were
yeah.
birthed into?
So, yes.
So then, should my expectation be for every person?
Yeah.
Maybe I can grant a person more grace
Yep.
based on circumstance.
Yes.
If you grew up in the most cult religion
Yes.
with the most racist humans on the planet, it'll probably take you longer.
So I think there's.
You feel me?
Yes.
You follow?
Yeah. I think there's two kinds of racism.
Like-
Okay.
At 60, how old is he?
63. He's a young boomer. Yeah.
So you've hit the point of like, yeah, well, you had time. to amend yourself and
Yeah, you've
see some
and-
errors in your
yeah,
ways.
I mean, you've lived in the modern world.
Yeah, you've
You'd
had
like-
plenty
like
of
the
time
world
to
of the
see
last
the error,
25 years.
see the error in your ways, and you doubled down literally. Full condemnation at that point.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think we should for something
Yeah.
like this, especially with his history and all.
I'm
of that.
helping you in a rhetoric sense.
Yeah, I just, I was going to make a point about that. The idea of there's like, like in my mind, there's kind of like two kinds of racist people, I guess, out there.
Mhm.
So I think there are people who are racist, kind of like evil to the bone, like racist.
Intent,
I believe
consciously.
like I believe is a powerful word.
Yeah.
I believe in my soul that
White people are better.
white people are better or whatever.
Yeah.
And just because like there's no because it's in the Bible, or I don't know why I believe it, but I believe it all the way through.
And you're aware that
into
you
my
believe
soul.
it and you know it and you can speak it. And then there's like there's a conscious
even-
like a conscious racism and a subconscious.
It even it even meets needs for a person like that emotionally.
Identity.
It gives them strong identity, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are people that are like that, those are the narcissists. Those are the ones that don't have empathy. They're not capable of seeing the error in their way. That's what I'm getting at. Okay. So that doesn't say that all people that are narcissists are racist. I don't mean that, but the people that are the evil racists, they tend to be, they're going to be narcissists because,
Okay.
they lack empathy. But then there's this other group of people, which is what you're kind of getting at, I think. It's
Yeah.
like me. And I grew up with I had a grandfather who used the N-word.
Really?
Sure.
Your grandma. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So but not like all the time, and not like in a kind of like angry, like I
Vitriolic
hate that.
Sense?
Right?
But like
just that was the word we used.
Yeah.
For you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And so, so it's like, I think that the attitude towards a group of people during your upbringing is important.
Yeah.
So, right.
It would have
but,
taken no effort for you to assimilate those thoughts subconsciously and then have lived a life accordingly.
If I had a grandfather
It would've
who was spitting it in my ear about how, they're inferior and went on to kind of
Yeah.
raise me like that and put that in my head from a very young age, then it's burned in much, much deeper. So
Yeah.
you might start to believe it. I never got that treatment. So I think I was around people who were sort of like,
I'm saying like subconsciously racist. Like
Yeah.
they don't realize they're crossing the street.
yeah,
They
sure.
don't really realize that they're doing that.
Yeah. It's,
Or they don't realize they don't go down that aisle at the store because there's a black person there.
yeah.
They're not thinking any thought.
Yeah.
They just automatically skip to the next aisle.
Yeah. There's just that kind of
So it's
underlying
inspiring. And then if you say some
stereotype.
crazy shit like that,
Yeah.
they'll tell you, whoa, that's messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then through little baby actions, accidentally do things that reinforce it.
For sure. I think there's
So-
a lot
so
more
there's-
people like that.
That's my point. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a ton of people who are out and about N-word.
Right.
I don't think there's a ton of them.
Yeah. But there are people like this guy, Clay Higgins,
Pl-
who I
plenty
think
exist.
had it been 25 years ago.
And he's
in the
saying it
right
with his
group,
chest.
Yeah. He might have been.
He
might have
believes
had a
it.
pitchfork in his hand.
He might
you know
have.
what I mean?
So,
Or 100 years ago, he might have. Well, who knows?
well, yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah.
But I think that, yeah, I think we were agreeing there that like it definitely could be used.
Ugh, I tell you.
It's bad. No, yeah.
So,
But I think that the big thing there is humans are like innately tribal. It's kind of a little bit more
Yeah.
bred into us.
Yeah.
You can overcome it.
mhm.
Again, one of the unique things about humans is we're like the only animal on this planet that can overcome our
Primal. stuff.
primal instincts.
Yeah.
You feed a dog only salad forever, and then you put a big old steak in front of it, it's gonna eat the steak. You don't make a dog vegan.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
That smells good.
Finally, steak.
Finally, yeah, right. It doesn't work like that. But I think humans are the only ones who can think a thing and recognize that it's like our base to drive and be like, I cannot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. for
Like
sure.
there are people who are voluntarily celibate.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists in the animal world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Because they're just
It's-
primal.
They're just primal,
Mhm.
right? So we can overcome our primal urges, right? And I think it's just people who just are bad people. I don't know how else you chalk it up to just evil people, right?
Yep.
And just use that for bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you can use those instincts for good. It's possible,
Mhm.
right? I mean, I'm pretty sure we use the same "they're bad" to the racist people, and then we haven't done slavery anymore
Right.
because we used the same rhetoric
Yeah.
in the direction.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you fight.
You have to fight it with the same thing.
Any way you need to fight.
Yeah. So
So I'm going to land the plane on.
yeah, land the plane.
No, it's already landed. How about that? Because we have to go straight into our next
Yeah,
topic,
which is
and I'm tired of talking about Clay Higgins.
yeah. So we'll move to the other house.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people
Of
like
Congress?
him, and
That's where we're going. We're going to the other house of Congress. Yeah, Clay Higgins. Those people exist.
yeah. So let's just
Don't
acknowledge
dilute
it.
yourself to they don't exist, and racism exists.
Yes,
Do not pretend it does not.
yes,
The only way you ever do anything good is if you actively acknowledge it
yes,
and then act accordingly.
yes, and try to change it. Even
Yeah, and try to change it.
Actively.
Like, I would argue a lot of the immigration shit that's pushed by Republicans is not fact-based.
yes,
It's we talked about this a long time ago when we
Yes.
first started. It's not exactly facts and science.
not,
It's more like owie owie my feeling.
here's some crazy ass numbers. To
Yeah,
match my
actually,
feeling.
I'm just really angry and I don't like these people because how they look. Let me make up and then they're like, there's 100 trillion immigrants.
I don't even know if they're really angry about immigration and immigrants. I just think that they're angry at Democrats for not doing something about a thing, and the thing that they picked is
Oh,
immigration.
well, if that were the case, they would pass the border bill. If
Yeah.
that was the case, the Democrats did a thing and they're like, "Oh, you guys have solved our problem." I think it really is racially motivated.
Ugh, it's ugly.
And these people are smart enough to
We're losing our country.
they're smart enough to dog whistle it.
poisoning our blood.
Yep. They can dog whistle it, right?
Poisoning our blood.
I mean, you
seems
don't-
pretty blunt.
Yeah, it's not really the dog whistle's really kind of just a regular whistle. You know what I mean?
It's almost like a melody
Yeah.
by now.
Like, I mean, if you get into Congress, you're not like a moron. You don't just like the dumbest kid in town doesn't just accidentally get elected to Congress.
Yeah, you don't have to pass.
I
an
suppose it's
IQ test to get
possible,
elected to
but
Senate.
like, you know what I mean?
What is happening in the Senate? Because that's where the
Um,
smart people are.
Um,
There's only 100
well,
senators.
the discourse is abolish the Senate.
Abolish the Senate.
Is the discourse?
Oh, who's talking about doing this? What group of people are on board? I mean, that seems like,
A data scientist,
a data scientist said we should abolish the Senate.
an econ major.
Oh, that's interesting. What's the reasoning or logic behind that?
Okay, I'll show you.
Hmm.
So, actually, and you ready for it? They're consistent because they come at it from both sides. So, New York City, with a population of 8.42 million, with a total area of 469 square miles.
Yes, a little dot on the map.
Yep. And
has-
then a map that consists of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, the entirety of Montana, and Wyoming, both the Dakotas. It's a big map.
a big hunk of the northwestern United States, but not quite to the ocean.
645,000 square miles.
Okay, yeah.
Has the slightly less by 10,000 less people.
10,000 fewer people in that giant hunk of land.
Same number of representatives.
The same number of representatives.
So only 2 senators get to represent New York City, and there's
New
much
York,
more
as
than
well, state, but yeah.
state. But New York City and the whole state have 2 senators.
Yes, all those states.
That all many more senators.
Yeah, those are like
That touch
10 or
all those
12.
square at least. So
yeah, for sure. That's
naturally, the reply is you never see anyone complaining about the Senate representation of Delaware and Rhode Island. To which this person goes, Okay. Florida has 2.5 million more people than Oregon, Nevada, New Mexico, Hawaii, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, and Maine.
Hmm.
2.5 million more people
Yeah.
with a tenth of the representation. Abolish the Senate.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's from the other side.
That's the other side.
Because this is a Republican state,
Mhm.
and
Florida should
we.
equally have the representation of
Yeah.
said people.
Well, I think the interesting thing about it is if you look at the numbers, I mean, we're split 50-50 in the House lots of times, roughly.
Mhm.
We're split 50-50 in the Senate. We are right now.
Not because that's how the population thinks.
Knock us out. It's just it sort of works out like that.
Because there's fuckery. Not because we stumbled our way into.
I wonder what the number would be if it
Untouched.
if it were true representation.
So if it were true
It would
representation,
be like
it'd be at least 2/3 Democrat. I really feel like that in my
2/3
in my heart and soul.
Is that how the voter
Now,
registration?
you might get
plays
some-
out? I mean, what
Well,
if
hold
we
on,
just did
you
it
might
like-
get some Joe Manchin Democrats in there,
Oh, okay, yeah,
right? So I'm like, are you really Democrat? Right?
okay, yeah,
But most people, like if you ask them individual issue by individual issue, align like 60% something with Democrats on a lot of shit.
okay, all right.
Like when you ask someone, do you want your cost to go to the doctor be cheaper? They're like, yeah, of course.
yeah,
And then you say the
know.
politics term that Fox News said is bad.
I know.
That thing,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. If you base it on
right?
that,
So
then-
people want to abolish the Senate. That it's undemocratic.
I mean, it kind of is undemocratic.
In my heart, I would love for a
It would.
parliamentary system. Is honestly what my heart and soul wants. It would be nice.
I don't even know how that
The
works.
House is not big enough.
Oh, that's for sure.
It is way too small.
Yeah, the house isn't big enough for how many people we have.
Way too fucking small.
Yeah.
It needs to be at minimum doubled.
Yeah,
At the low end, doubled. There are countries. How
Yeah.
many? You could look up how many parliament seats are in like the UK and France and stuff.
yeah,
And it's like
big numbers.
they have a lot of people. So I would love a parliamentary system that gets rid of our current voting system, a bunch of different things to make it more democratic. You know what I mean? I would love more accurate representation.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very different.
It'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice if we had accurate representation?
Yeah, it's very different in France with a population. What's the population?
Around, I think, 70 million,
Oh, yeah, that could be about right.
around there. Something like that. I'll take a peek real
Yep,
quick.
right at 70 million.
Wow, really? I nailed it?
Yep, close to.
I'm a beast.
You're like a million over, but yeah, you're right.
I'm a
there.
beast.
So that's like
How big
'cause- or like what 350 million, approaching 400 million. Or
Yeah, so
something.
how big is their house?
The upper Senate has 349, and the lower assembly, which would maybe be equivalent to our house, is 577.
So combined, they're over 900, I think.
Combined is
Double.
Oh yeah, it's double what we have for a
And
country.
they have divided by
They're like 1/4.
a quarter,
a fifth,
a fifth the size of the U.S.,
fifth the size of
twice the size,
but twice the representation.
twice the representation.
Yeah, so there's definitely not enough
Yeah.
House members.
So I can gather the thought behind in the beginning of the country maybe wanting a Senate, but it was never that democratic to begin with.
Yeah,
I guess you could don't want like Virginia to bully the rest of the states.
probably there was some element of
That thought,
There's a big
like
difference.
Virginia can just do whatever it wants in the country, and the rest of them have to go with it.
Yeah,
Then you fall into half the country lives in Virginia.
right.
So
Yeah,
what? You know what I mean?
right. So why don't we get most of the power?
Right? We don't have nearly the same problem now, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if everyone lives in California, Texas, and Florida, then everyone lives in California, Texas, and Florida, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, if that's where you want to go, then fine. But you're still a part of the United States, and every state's a state, and every state has something cool in it.
Every state's got their own thing. Every state has their own fully set up state government that does their own things.
Yeah.
That are completely separate from the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And still act very independently
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of the time.
How did we get here, by the way?
Abolish the Senate.
Oh, yeah, we're abolishing the Senate. So,
What do you think? As a man who is very... I'm interested in your thoughts, actually. I really want to know where you think about this, because you're a very
yeah.
patriotic man.
So
Do you pledge allegiance to the Senate every morning? I pledge allegiance to the Senate of the
Well,
United States of America.
I pledge to Congress. So I guess both. So
I pledge allegiance to the Congress of the United States of America.
Yeah. I feel
I love the House.
probably the idea of expanding this, or maybe having some sort of proportional representation. So maybe we have more people, so we get 3 senators instead of 2.
Yeah,
like
2
something. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't have an issue with like a stronger House for different roles. Like I can grasp that. It probably needs to be bigger. 2 senators for California and 2 for Wyoming is wild. You know what I mean?
right.
Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's that.
California gets like 5 senators, or you just give them more. Just make the Senate bigger too.
Something
You
definitely
can't
doesn't
have
add
less
up.
than 2.
Yeah, well, I think here's what happens is by having 2, then you're you're almost like locking in a state to either a Republican state or there's not a lot of states that have one
True
of each.
representation. Well, this is the thing. You can argue it for both ways for everybody. California and certain blue states are
Northern,
are never going to have Republican senators. Really, it just doesn't really happen.
if they had
Now, if they had 4,
5 districts,
California
the
would
northern part of
California
would
probably
get a
have
senator.
2 red senators.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
So
Like,
it benefits everybody.
yeah, I think it would
It would
for
benefit
sure.
truly everyone.
The more
people like in California, any Republican in all those like deep blue states
yes,
might as well go home. Literally nothing you do matters voting.
Yes.
You're just so overwhelmed.
yes,
But if you gave them more representation,
yes.
their vote would mean something.
Yeah.
Like my vote in Oklahoma means absolutely nothing. Or in West Virginia,
Yeah.
me voting Democrat means literally nothing.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I think the goal should be to try to get everything to, the more
I understanding
representation you have.
I think
the
our
better.
country is set up to need 2 houses. I don't know if we can just dodge that.
Yeah,
Like it would kind of like pulling one of the pillars out, and we kind of would ruin the whole thing.
I think
I like the feeling of abolish the Senate in the
Yeah.
sense how the Senate's currently structured and works
yeah.
doesn't.
It's almost like a part of the idea is,
And the reason it's 50-50 is because everyone's playing the game so they don't lose. Does that make sense? Like everyone's it can't really gerrymander a Senate too
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, you're not doing much there.
But you can box out people like barely, and then you lock it in, and then it's stuck, and then you're messed up. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, like, why can't Republicans in California have a senator?
yeah,
There's a ton of Republicans in California.
yeah,
They're just not enough.
yeah,
So they'll just never get anything.
yeah. There's not enough
So their vote means nothing. It
representation.
means nothing.
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
You
of
know?
course. Yeah.
So in that sense, double the size of the Senate if you want, or something. I don't know. I'm making it up.
yeah,
Double it.
but give some sort of a proportional
You.
representation.
I don't like having a ceiling on how many representatives a place can have. That doesn't make any sense. I like a floor.
yeah, like,
That makes sense. You have to have 2 senators. You're guaranteed that right.
yeah, for
One
sure.
representative and 2 senators always.
Yeah,
You'll never not have that.
yeah,
Right? That makes sense. But now there's so many people living in some states
yeah,
where it's like they need a few more people.
yeah,
So both need to be larger, but at least the sentiment of abolish the Senate.
yeah.
You can't really do that without restructuring the entire government. The Constitution is then moot at that point almost.
I just think that you have to assign districts because right now the whole state votes for a senator. And
Yeah.
so
Maybe it's one of those
like,
things where it's like
they have to district our senators.
I almost like
if they districted our senators.
I almost like
then it
a
would be different.
geographically districted senator.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like you can't gerrymander it, and we're not going to have like California annex part of Nevada. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If that happens, new problem.
well, yeah, then you're
New-
a can of worms.
The problem is no longer who the representatives are.
Mhm.
right? I think if you geographically determine it, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think that would no gerrymander issue. But I want to touch on that because I've seen some discourse about it. Because I'm not a fan of I'm a fan of democracy first. Then I'm a fan of Democrats winning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The idea of anybody doing anything to change
I do not know
foundationally how the government operates.
I do not know how in the world
seems so
we
unlikely.
expand the House, let alone do literally anything to the Senate.
Yeah, I just don't know how.
The will of the people you would have would be.
Yeah, but it's hard to. Yeah, it's hard to get anybody excited about that.
You would have to have. I'm not kidding. Like as like a party or a president or a group of people like in the government. I'm not even joking. Like
it would have to be like a project.
80% of the people.
2025, but with the goal of
but
doing
you'd
this.
have to have the mandate of the people to.
Yeah,
because Congress would vote on it.
like yeah,
They
right.
would be voting to take power from themselves.
Yeah, that's the point.
So, but the point is, you would have to have the support of like 75% of the nation,
right?
To be like, if any of you oppose this, you're gone next year.
And you can't
And then
sell
when
that.
we have a new Congress, we'll just pass it. So either you're passing and you keep your seat,
Yeah,
or you don't pass it and you lose your seat.
it's just how do you get
So
a country
how
excited
you
about
get
this?
there?
You don't get there
You-
because
how do you get? I'm not even worried about getting a country to support that. How do you get a country to support one guy or a few guys or whatever
yeah,
that much?
yeah,
It doesn't happen right now.
yeah, not right now.
Not
for
right
sure.
now.
Like a greater thing would have to happen to get us all on the same team.
I don't know what would have to happen.
A greater thing.
Donald
that gets
Trump would
us
have to
all-
win to get us all to this point.
Like something big would have to happen to get
Yeah,
us all.
it
Like
would be-
9/11 did. Like some.
It'd be bigger than that.
Yeah, I think it would probably.
It'd have to be way bigger than that.
Mhm.
It'd be way bigger than that.
I think, and it would have to be an outside thing.
Yeah, some serious outside.
Like I really
force.
think that the only thing left that could do it would, because we're so big with our military. Obviously, we could kill ourselves from within. But let's.
That's what I'm most worried about. I
But-
have like negative fear about the rest of the world.
But let's hope that we can continue. You know, guys like you who are 22 years old
Yeah.
will keep trying.
Keep fight the good fight.
Yeah, to keep reason in all of this, and you know what I mean, and empathy in all of this. And so
I'm just screaming in an empty forest. I'm the only voice of reason in an empty forest right now.
well, that's okay. We're screaming,
And that is
somebody's going to hear you.
an infinite percentage if I wasn't here.
Somebody
increase.
eventually is going to hear you
One day. And then it'll be two idiots screaming in the forest.
Fine, but that's even a little bit louder, so
So-
somebody else might hear.
I know. So speaking of reason,
Yeah, what is the reason?
Republican voices on the internet think that the Democrats used Jewish space lasers to direct the hurricane into Republican areas in this country to suppress the vote.
I've seen a little bit of
So-
a little bit like of the radar, and there's these glitches in the radar that these lines form.
It's cute that they don't know how a hurricane works.
Oh man,
I do love that. So yeah, I guess technically
that is-
speaking, the reddest areas of Florida technically were hit by the hurricane, right?
Yep.
Like by county.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about by county. and
No,
stuff.
that's for
Or
sure.
precinct, right?
That's for sure.
So it was actually big government, the deep state, used a big spoon in the Atlantic and just churned a big
Yep.
hurricane.
I mean, this is
It was a really big fan they bought from Costco.
this is like like 10 of them.
Yeah.
This is, to my mind, is like flat earthers.
Yeah, of course.
That's the
Yeah.
level.
But the problem is
nonsense this is.
you can call it nonsense. A lot of people believe this bullshit.
Yeah.
So you can call it nonsense, but when
Yep.
millions of people are buying in, I got a problem with it. So I'm going to read this.
Oh yeah, I have a problem with it. Sure.
Let me read this. This is a let's see. I think this guy would I'm going to put it like this. He would do things for Elon that would be not safe for work. Yeah. He's very much the cringe. I don't even know how to articulate it. I'll just show you his Twitter. It's very much this like
Matt Wallace.
Elon simp, but like the ones that like he's in the elder council of Elon simps.
Interesting. He's
Like-
been he's been around longer.
2016 was when he got on Twitter, but he's just not even that. Just how hard he simps for Elon. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so already low IQ. Already low IQ. Right? He's not real life Tony Stark, guys. I'm sorry. He's not real life Tony Stark. Okay? He's not.
I remember a time when
I still think it's one of the I'm waiting for a book or some kind of study to go out or something of like how people like actually thought you were real life Tony Stark and you just fumbled all of it
yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
Like if you were just shut your mouth,
Yeah.
you were fine.
Yeah.
But you opened your mouth and everyone's like, "Oh wait,
I know.
this guy's a fucking idiot."
When he was only talking about rockets and
When he was just quiet about like, "Oh, space travel's cool and like electric cars are cool."
yeah.
Just shut your fucking mouth and don't say anything else.
Right. Right. He
When
was-
the value of your companies exists because you're famous, you shut your mouth. Do you know what I mean?
It's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I know.
So
He could have been a trillionaire twice by now.
Yeah, he could have
Had he
been
stayed on
genuinely the most powerful person in the world
Yeah,
had he shut his mouth.
for sure.
So anyway, I'm going to read this tweet to you.
Yeah, the worst thing he could have done for himself was to buy Twitter.
That was the worst thing. That was actually the downfall, undeniably. So I'm going to read you this thing. I don't really care if this guy believes this. I give a shit that people believe it. 27,000 likes.
Wow. Okay.
So people believe it. 4,500 bookmarks. Like people believe this.
Wow.
So maybe he doesn't.
I want to remember this.
Others do.
Okay.
So I'm reading it, okay?
All right.
Don't worry, guys. Weather modification isn't real. It's just a coincidence that Hurricane Helene is one of the most devastating inland damage storms in history, and that hundreds of pro-Trump counties are now being massively impacted during the most important election of our lifetimes. Paragraph 1. Obviously, the elites will never be evil enough to create hurricanes designed to interfere with democracy. Pay no attention to the storms currently brewing in the Atlantic either. You can ask any mainstream scientists and they will tell you that it isn't even possible to create those or target them in certain areas. Just stay silent. No need to vote or express anything. You wouldn't want to be called a conspiracy theorist, right? Couldn't have that. So please ignore your own eyes and don't share this post or investigate further.
God, the right is so much better
think I
at
got-
doing the
I think
conspiracy
I got-
thing than the left.
Dumber? Well, no, this is a good thing about the left is I don't have to do conspiracy theory. I just have like facts and logic. I don't have to conspiracy you. I don't have to make anything up.
I know, but
To
there's
convince you?
But there's a slice of the population who believe stuff like that, who love to buy into the
I
conspiracy stuff.
don't want them on my team.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want them on my team.
Got it. Because yeah, you could say like they're gonna round us up and put us in camps, and they're building the camps. That's not just for immigrants. That's going to be for regular Americans too. Don't
Yeah,
let them
but,
fool
like-
you. The Trump cabal is
Yeah, but you can build I don't know. These conspiracy people are not. They're also lost.
yeah,
They're also not.
or mentally
The lights are on, but no one's home.
yeah. There's
No one's home.
yeah.
They're kind of gone.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to just like write people off. But if you're reading that and you're like bought in, there's not a thing I can do. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah, you can't convince them.
There is nothing to be done.
No, you can't convince them.
A lot of them are MAGA Republicans, but I'm going to just whoop, said the quiet part out loud. Uh-oh. Whoops. Uh-oh. That's my conspiracy. Yeah. So this is from Todd Starnes, who apparently is a Newsmax host. Tweets this. Same day. Urgent flash flood emergency for the Lake Lure Dam. Dam failure imminent. Residents below the dam need to be evacuated to higher ground immediately. Like, warning people.
Yes.
Follows it with, the Weather Channel has to fuel the fake narrative about climate change by making every storm the most apocalyptic and catastrophic in the history of Earth. And they are back-to-back tweets. Back-to-back. I'm pulling up a picture. Someone took a screenshot.
What?
They're back-to-back.
That's weird.
I'll pull it up. Hod.
That is so strange.
So how much is Russia paying him to say that? I'm asking you.
Oh,
Because they pay people. So I'm just asking how much she was paid.
what's the benefit for Russia to pay somebody to say something like that just to stir the shitstorm in America?
Yeah, a lot of it is
and make
is-
us hate each other
is
more.
just stir the pot.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just stir the pot because Russia does better when just chaos is
Yes.
happening.
The more just chaos, the
Yeah.
better everyone else is going to do.
Because God forbid the U.S. is united in anything. We can do pretty much whatever we want to the rest of the world, and they can't really say anything about it if we're united.
Yeah.
Good luck to literally any country stopping us in 2001.
Oh, right.
We would have just deleted your country. Like, you don't want to support us? We called them freedom fries. For Christ, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't French fries anymore
Yeah.
because France wasn't on our team.
Yes.
Oh, cool. We hate your country.
Mhm.
Actually, that's cool.
Yeah. That didn't last long.
No, but like things like that happen. So
For sure.
the goal is just sowing dissent,
And now it's just
and it works.
yeah, no, for chaos, but it's yeah, and there's also people that are doing it just for money too, just to get attention
Well, that's the
and
same
make
thing.
money.
Well, true. Yeah,
Just yeah,
Candace Owens does exist. You're
yeah.
right.
People like her.
She does exist.
She's just there just to.
A lot of these people
scream in
don't
the echo
believe
chamber.
anything. There's not a belief.
Yeah, they don't believe. They
Their
just,
belief is money.
yeah, money, power.
Yeah.
just
So,
hate one side.
But things like that, I do love, because this is the thing that I've noticed, and I want to ask you because you're older than me, obviously. I saw a tweet. This was from a younger person, I think, in between our age, that said something like, "It's weird when people say that the climate change hoax isn't a thing, but I can distinctly remember the climate being different when I was little." Right? Now, maybe I was just little and not paying attention, to be fair.
Mhm.
Right? But also, just side note, things like the ozone being a problem, like we solved that problem. The reason it didn't happen
Yeah,
is we did something about it.
yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
I recall in Florida there being more winter when I was little, a longer winter. Not a whole lot more.
Yeah.
But I absolutely recall there being more winter.
Well, it was definitely colder.
Even 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was definitely colder.
At least that. Like, I remember there being
definitely that.
a difference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I remember going to work one day at the golf course and it was 15 degrees.
Yeah, that
when I
does
got-
not happen.
Yeah, we don't really get down
So
to
I'm
teens
asking
much.
you, am I on methamphetamines and on drugs, or am I making sense? Am
That-
I smoking the crack pipe?
that you've
Like,
noticed a
that
change.
I personally have noticed a difference.
Yeah. So I think the counter argument, no, I think that you're right. I've also observed that the world, the environment
I'm
is changing.
intentionally ignoring science for a moment.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm doing the thing of, well, my eyes are telling me.
no, look, I mean, there were 30 hurricanes in 2020. Like there was never anything like that. But I mean, there's only been like nine this year or 10 so far. So we might, get up to 12 or, 13, but still maybe average year. But yeah, like, I mean, there are things that are definitely different.
One thing, just another storm fact. I was watching this hurricane tornado thing, actually, all the F5s kind of ever that we've kept track of.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1800s, none happened in the US. 3 were in Germany, 1 was in France. First F5 that
Like a tornado?
Mhm.
F5 tornadoes. They knew if it was an F5 hit somewhere.
well, we have ways we measure the strength of a tornado.
Yeah.
So one way is an F5 if it goes over a house and there's just no house.
Yeah. It's how much, basically, it eats. How much
How much it
destroys.
eats, how big it is, how wide, how long. There's different measurements.
Sure.
The official F5 measurement comes down to the 50s.
Yeah.
But we can look back at all that data they had
And kind of see this most likely
rough it
was
out.
an F5 or okay, EF5.
So the
right.
first real one we kind of had in the U.S. was in the early 1910s or something. And then there just wasn't another F5 level we could even think about it for 50 years.
Wow. I feel like they're pretty common.
It just kind of went away. And then post-World War II, when industrialization really exploded across the world,
Yeah, for sure.
the number increased, curiously.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Increased quite a bit, but it was every few years it would be one.
Yeah.
And then, the 80s to the 2010s, there was times where a town would get hit 3 times in a month by an F5. So my point being,
Yeah, it's changed.
just dropping that note,
It's changed. All right, I'm going to give you the counterpoint. So I'll just,
give me the conspiracy.
I've already argued this with people who are kind of, don't believe in climate change.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I remember back when it was called global warming. So, you know what I mean? And then,
What a boomer.
well, I mean, they had to rebrand it to something different because, like, it was snowing too many places and everyone was looking like an idiot by
global
calling it
warming?
global warming.
It snowed outside
Even
in
though-
northern Canada. Like, well, I mean,
So here's the problem.
global warming? There's snow in Siberia.
Here's the problem with the climate change argument. I'm going to give it to you right now, right in the face.
That was very Trump of you.
The problem with the climate change argument and where we're going wrong with making this argument and saying
I
about
want to make the argument right. Please tell me. Yeah.
is that the other side will say the climate changes. Here's the problem. They're right.
Yep.
There was an ice age.
There was.
And before there was an ice age, it was a lot hotter. And, it was, so the earth does do this ebb and flow thing. So I just feel like the course of action is to ditch climate change entirely and to look at it like this instead. And I'll refer to none other than Elon Musk as a reference
I love it.
that Earth is going to run out of hydrocarbons, oil for the people who
Are
wanna,
dumb.
Yeah. So he said this on stage at a big
Like, we know
event
this-
thing
this-
in like 2018 or something.
Yeah,
Like,
this
is
is
a
a
long time
thing we
ago.
know.
Yeah. So
Coal, another fact, impossible for more coal to be made naturally.
right. Yeah.
It
we don't have enough time to wait for coal to be made.
it just can't even be made anymore. The way
Mm.
coal, just real briefly, science.
Mm.
Coal exists because trees would decay, and we didn't
Yeah.
have a bacteria yet to eat them.
Mm.
Trees didn't really rot the same way they rot today,
Oh, interesting.
and that's why it's coal.
Yeah. Got it. Oh, that's
I don't know if you've
interesting.
noticed, if it's wet anywhere,
Right.
it's decaying.
Yeah. There's bacteria.
Yeah,
It's
it didn't
decaying.
exist the same way.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. It didn't
Like grass didn't
yeah,
exist.
it turns
when,
into dirt.
when coal was being made. Grass didn't exist. So just we'll leave you with that one.
Yeah, there was no grass. Yeah.
It was just ferns.
right.
But
yeah.
grass didn't exist. They hadn't invented grass yet.
So so
Just for people.
so I think
And we don't have 100 million years for more oil. So
Yeah, I mean what I'm getting at is that I think that the tack to take at this point is to ditch yes, there's still climate change. Yes, there's still global warming. Yes, all of those things. Yes,
but we need,
carbon
we
levels
need,
are rising
we need
in
to
the
have a
atmosphere.
world that can survive without oil.
but but a couple things. We have a polluted world.
Very.
And nobody can argue with the concept of pollution. And we live in a dirty, polluted, plastic ridden, chemical ridden world.
Yeah.
And it's only getting worse. So it's dirty. Republicans hate living in a polluted world, believe it or not. If you talk to them about pollution specifically, and they'll get fired up about everything so dirty and you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so, but you don't hear anybody talk about pollution anymore, right?
Not really.
That was
When I
kind
was
of
real little. We
yeah,
kind of
like in the 80s, 90s, there was the idea of that.
like
but-
elementary school, and that
but
vanished in
it-
5th grade.
yeah, but it's like it caused global warming, and so global warming became the thing. So I think if we stick to the argument of there is pollution and we need to do something about that, which obviously will be lower emissions, and
Which just has
better cleanup
byproducts of
standard.
cleaning up energy
Exactly
production.
right. So, and then the other thing is that we're going to, be out of oil. In fact, we're going to run out of oil before the Middle East. So, what's going to happen to our country 50 years from now when that's happening? And we now are not energy independent. So, I think energy independence, independent of oil, hydrocarbons,
Is the world.
and whoever races there first will be the most powerful.
nuclear. Just saying it. Sorry.
Yeah. Nuclear,
Just saying
or
it.
solar or whatever, and a lot of great batteries.
So I'm going to just, for all those viewers in the audience, I'm going to drop my own conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll kind of ask you out loud and you can play along. What is the reason we haven't pivoted to green energy or literally anything other than fossil fuels?
What is the reason?
Don't think, we're thinking way too hard. Already stopped thinking so hard.
What do I think is the reason?
Well, yeah, like, well, why haven't we?
Just because the oil lobby is so powerful.
Money.
and money. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
Yes, you're saying the same thing we're saying. Money.
Yeah.
That's the conspiracy.
yeah.
But hold on. So
I think that's been said out loud before.
Yeah, but no. Yes, it's been said, but then everyone just stops thinking. Everyone says it, and then instantly starts drooling,
Yeah.
and they quit thinking.
Right.
The issue is, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Solve that problem. And you solve a lot of other problems along the way.
Oh, sure.
Many
Yeah.
solutions to that,
Yep.
but that's the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Is the issue like the fact that like, or let's see, is the issue that like X senator or representative is like taking funding from somewhere that's like kind of unpleasant, or the fact that it's possible a problem?
Yeah.
Am I mad at JD Vance for probably taking oil money, or am I mad at the fact that the entire ecosystem of that exists?
I don't know. Which are you mad about?
The ecosystem that exists in.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Looking at things holistically instead of individualistically.
Yeah.
Trying to finish off the word there.
Yeah. I agree.
That's the conspiracy. Think about things in that way. Because everyone says, follow the money.
Yeah. It goes straight to oil.
What if we just abolished money? Well,
Well.
they hate you when they say that.
I mean, you solve some problem.
I'm just saying. We should all be poor. Okay. So we're going to move past that because I haven't studied enough to get into that. I accidentally liked a Richard Spencer post. Whoops. That's all.
I've got AI art to close us out.
Oh, I have this one real quick. I want to play it for you.
Oh, yeah.
Woke liberalism. Just very briefly, I want to touch
Oh,
on
yes.
it. Just briefly. You want to come peek. Fold down.
Mm.
Yeah, ChatGPT failed you. Don't trust AI. So just a thing. I just want you to tell me how it feels. 30 seconds. Do you have 30 seconds?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to play this thing for you. Where am I?
China's buying up our land, cheating our ranchers. They're even playing spy balloons over Montana. They get away.
This is the senator, Democrat senator for Montana.
Hmm.
She's running for Senate.
Oh, okay.
with it by buying out politicians like Ryan Zinke. He's bankrolled by a Chinese egg conglomerate that's buying up American farmland and voted to help China rip off our ranchers. I'm Monica Trinnell, and I approve this ad to send a message to China. Montana is not for sale.
So first of all,
China's buying up our land.
Nice.
I have not seen a better commercial
That's great.
ad for a politician ever.
That's-
I've never seen a better one.
That's great. Great work. Who is she?
She is Monica Trinnell. She is the
Wait, who? Monica
Trinnell. She's a
Trinnell.
Olympian.
Oh, she was an Olympian.
Yeah, you would know her. The '96 and the 2000 Summer Olympics. She's a rower.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
So, Democrat. So this is woke liberalism. This is the woke media. This is the woke, right? And I just kind of want to touch on just briefly, I guess, kind of your thoughts. I actually don't totally know. I've joked about it, so you know how I feel about this. That if the Democrat Party is run by people who live in San Francisco and New York City, we're doomed. We're just doomed. There's no winning. It's over. Mm-hmm. But if the Democrat Party is run by people like this lady and Tim Walz, we'll win.
Yes.
We'll win.
Yes. I think she
Keep
goes...
Gavin Newsom the hell away from my government. Get him out of here.
Okay, got it. I see where you're going with that. We need real people.
Real people.
Real talk.
Real
no polished politician nonsense.
You can have the polish, but it's I haven't figured out yet how to explain my feeling on this. I think you feel what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to articulate it really well.
Yeah.
I don't need everyone to be like this lady, although I think she's awesome. But I also fall very much in the camp of like the things that I'm like, I guess, interested in normally. Like you wouldn't instantly go, oh, this guy's progressive. You wouldn't just instantly fall into that assumption. Just no doubt. I'm much to the right of most people on guns, for example, easy one. Big history nerd. That's kind of like Republican preschool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you like history? Cool. Talk to me in 20 years when you're watching Fox News. Right? Little oops, a problem. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Things like that. Like, I'm not particularly artistically inclined. Mm-hmm. That's like associated with being liberal or whatever,
sure.
you know?
Yeah, sure.
straight white guy, that's a big problem. That's a big problem. But like things that I like or do or whatever, I don't fall into.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You wouldn't see me and instantly think that
Yeah.
is kind of a thing,
For
right? Like put it like this, I blend in the deep South far better than I blend in like a city. Like if I went to LA, I would not mesh well with a lot of people. A lot of people I would, just sheer numbers.
I think you might fly like rural because you're kind of a
Oh, I fly rural for sure.
yeah.
For sure I fly rural. Yeah. I'm not a city boy. Not a city slicker.
Yeah. I mean, you're like one slip of the snippers from a mullet. So
Yeah. It's close.
if you think about it.
Yeah, I'm close. So I'm much more rural in that sense. Oh, the cities are great.
Yeah.
Cities are great. But I guess I'm kind of touching on like drives me nuts. Like a performative wokeness by some people is so unappetizing, and I don't understand why we do it.
Yeah.
Not caring for people, a performative.
I get it.
Like if I'm going to speak on an issue, I'm at a panel or whatever, why do I have to spend 4 minutes running over all of my privileges? I'm white and I'm straight and I don't understand how to talk like this. I'm not speaking for these people. And I don't know these people.
Yeah.
If I was at a event hosted by like the Black Journalists Association,
Yep.
there are people who would actually open. If they were me, I'm straight and I'm white and I'm a guy, so I don't understand what it's like to be any of these things and this disclaimer. I'm like, I think they get it. They're looking at me.
Sure.
I think you can tell,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I think you can tell.
So it's that fake
I hate, and it's like
like manufactured concern. It's you can tell when it's
it's
not
an
real.
act. It's not real. It's not like a real concern. It's like a fake. The same way that we get mad at Republicans for being Christian.
Yeah.
Same problem.
Yeah.
You clearly aren't religious. I can tell when someone's religious and when they aren't.
That you don't believe it. I can tell that you don't believe what you're saying.
No,
What you say.
No, you don't. You're not.
Got it.
Really, I can tell
Got
you're
it.
not that. I've met men who are religious. and
Gavin
they're
Newsom strikes me as a person who
absolutely fake. It's just
it would be easy for someone,
maybe-
even though he says stuff that I like to hear.
maybe he's liberal leaning, just like how he is, but he also understands what wins in California.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. No,
Right?
I get what you're saying. And I mean, look, I could be wrong. I could be reading it wrong because he's on you as well. But the way it feels to me, and I've never met Gavin Newsom. I've never spoken with him. I would love to speak with him because I would ask him some hard questions.
I would
about
yeah.
empathy.
I'd box him in.
And I would try to understand.
I wouldn't let him
his
weasel
reasoning behind. Yeah, exactly right.
wouldn't let him weasel.
So, but I mean, he's so good at politicking and at saying stuff like that on the liberal side that
Yeah.
he's got this sheen to him, and it makes him unappealing.
Like I put it like this: the actual wokest state per policy is one of the wokest is Tim Walz' Minnesota, rural Midwest
And
Minnesota,
that is because of
gun
Tim
toting,
Walz.
hunting Minnesota.
Because of Tim Walz.
Because of Tim Walz, yeah, not because it's not a performative thing. I don't know how to explain it very well. It's like a better than thou. I'm smarter and I'm above it all, and
That's why I feel like he's going to trounce JD Vance.
I'm so excited to watch that.
by the way, on
But
Tuesday.
there's a certain thing where I hate it.
So that's something that we need to be talking about regularly.
I don't
and we
think
need
it's
to push
I don't think
back
it's
on
woke
this.
liberal to be like racism has had a negative effect on the progression of the black community in America. That's not woke liberalism, right? That's just like, yeah, we can kind of measure that. That's kind of just a thing. Woke liberalism is being, I'm not going to speak for black people because I'm not black. I might have not had the experience. I can't even do it right because it's not in my bones to do it. Right? So, or I don't know, like accidentally saying like gay or something and like a maybe might accidentally get interpreted as like an insult
Yeah, and then
is followed by
for it.
10 minutes of apology.
Yes.
And like I could never begin to understand the struggles
Yes.
of the gay person. I'm like,
Yes. Got it. Okay.
you have
Got it.
now made it an issue.
Right.
It wasn't an issue.
Right. It wasn't a lie until you started apologizing.
Yeah. 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 No, we didn't really care a whole lot until you weeped about it.
I get it.
You know what I
get
mean?
it. No, I get it. Let's keep paying attention to the Newsoms of the liberal side, identifying them, talking about them, and bringing attention to this, because this is something that not a lot of people are talking about, and we want to keep something going in an area like this. And I think it's a point that's a great point.
Republicans have figured this out.
They figured it out way before
They
we did.
figured this problem out and solved its problem.
Yeah,
long ago.
Well,
Mitt Romney,
fact, I would
Mitt
argue
Romney,
that they're losing it now.
yeah, they've fallen. Actually, they've gone.
I mean,
too
now that
far.
they have like Trump and
I would say, what's his name from 2012? Mitt Romney
Mhm.
is the Republican Gavin Newsom. Maybe not exactly, but slick hair, very polished, politician speaking.
Sure, by what he looks
Follow
like.
me.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually, I think, really a good man.
He's
I think that
to
he
the-
actually believes.
He's probably a better person than Gavin Newsom. I'm not going to argue with you there.
Yeah.
But he's like, Gavin Newsom personally is more moderate than a lot of Democrats.
Yeah.
They don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Him himself is quite moderate,
Yeah.
right? And for Republicans, Mitt Romney's kind of moderate, right? They ditched his ass, and everyone like him.
Yeah. That's true.
And now, to be fair, Trump, ironically, is probably, if you think about it, he's a coastal elite.
yeah.
So I'm going to say coastal elite Trump,
I think he used to be a
but
billionaire.
he sounds not that.
Mhm.
He just trying to do what Tim Walz actually is. Do you know what I mean?
I just feel like people will see it. People will see Waltz.
Yeah. And so,
Tuesday, they're
but
gonna
my
see
argument is they figured that out and then they won. Hillary Clinton has the same problem, the same weird, not real, fake,
Yeah.
kind of.
But still charming, though. Still
Well,
good at speeches.
I mean, like-
no, like I'm playing devil's advocate. Like,
Well,
I mean,
this
I mean, there's a reason that they got elected
she's-
governor.
individually, I guess she has good individual skills.
She who?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, Hillary. Oh, Hillary Clinton. Sorry, I thought you said Bill Clinton.
No, Hillary.
Go, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Hillary Clinton is like a Newsom.
Hillary, yeah, is like a Newsom.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Hillary's like
I
a
agree.
Newsom.
I agree.
Um,
I think that's
Bill's
why
the-
she lost. I think that's...
and Trump doesn't feel like that to a lot of
No,
Republicans.
he feels authentic.
He
Like,
feels much.
yeah, he gets me pissed off.
Trump is
so-
much closer to saying exactly how he feels behind closed doors than Hillary ever has been publicly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's
right.
much closer.
Right.
And people feel that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I will never understand why Democrats feel like that's the right thing, is to try to get to Hillary Clinton again. They keep wanting to go that way.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
We need to go the Waltz Bernie Sanders way.
Waltz needs to be a moderate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like he needs to be like, wow, this guy's kind of fake.
Yeah.
I want it to feel like Tim Walz is fake. Then we're going in the right direction.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
But like you see how Bernie and
Yep.
Tim Walz less to extent,
Yep.
but Bernie definitely like
Yep.
have more movement
Yes.
behind them.
I think,
Bernie changed Democrat Party. Bernie never won anything.
yeah.
He's just a senator.
Right.
He changed the
I mean,
party.
he's not even a Democrat.
Yeah, he's not even a Democrat, and he changed the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
That's how powerful Bernie is.
Yeah,
Because
for sure.
Bernie's real.
Yeah.
Saying it. Sorry.
That's it.
Bernie's a real guy.
That's simple.
Bernie's actually a
It's that
human.
simple.
He's not an alien or a lizard like Hillary is.
I hope that Buttigieg is able, because
Oh my God, he's dancing the line.
I know.
If he has to, for his political future, he has to make a decision.
Like,
I'm praying he goes the Bernie route.
I'm
Call
praying-
Bernie.
I'm praying he goes the Bernie Waltz route. I'm
If he
hoping
goes
that,
the-
that the time he spends with
He
Waltz
will-
starts
he-
to rub off on
He
him.
will have more real success if he goes the Bernie Waltz route.
He's practicing with Waltz. He's playing J.D. Vance
Yeah, I heard that.
as a part of debate
I heard
prep.
that. He will have not real success. He will have people like this. People will remember who Bernie is. Gavin Newsom will be forgotten about.
There it is. Just leave it at that.
Bernie will be in history books
Because it's the ideas.
because Bernie is the face of a movement.
Yeah. Like Trump is.
Like Trump will go down in history, even if he lost everything.
Yep.
Trump will go down in history.
Yep.
So, two more things real quick. AI art. Oh no, we'll touch on this. Actually, this is a little better. No,
I do want to talk about Mark Cuban also. So I don't know if we should do that now or we do that at the end also.
At the end.
Just for a minute or two.
at the end.
Yeah, go for it.
No red states, blue states,
Oh, yeah.
blue cities.
Yeah, I've seen this. By the way, I've seen this meme for years.
Yeah, it's been a meme since 1789. So, I just note Polling USA is one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Very funny. Actually, a Canadian apparently.
Mm.
More American than any American I've ever met.
That's
so
funny.
put it like that. Someone replies, 0 blue states. Best state in the nation is solid blue. It seems Massachusetts' superiority has led to controversy.
Ooh.
Zooms in on all blue Massachusetts. Hell yeah.
Every county.
Every county blue. That in Rhode Island, only all blue.
There's and Rhode Island's so tiny.
Rhode
but yeah.
Island is a city.
Yeah, basically.
It should be annexed by Connecticut. It's just a city.
Yeah, and make Puerto Rico a state.
Yep.
All right.
Make Puerto Rico a state, make DC a state, make the UK a state. Just keep going. But no, so I just want to note that Massachusetts supremacy. I get
Say
it.
that state is a liberal state
That is a liberal state.
through and through.
Most real state I've ever felt like I've been in. Outside of the city.
Yeah.
Obviously, being in a city feels like you're in a real place.
Yeah.
But being outside of the city, it also like,
It was
wow,
cool.
this place feels
Different.
like this might actually be a state. Commonwealth. No disrespect.
Common.
No disrespect to any Massachusetts men. No disrespect. But just noting that, like,
Haven't been to Virginia yet.
haven't been to Virginia yet. We'll see. But this whole land doesn't vote, people do stuff.
Yeah. That's like, I don't know. It's just ignorant. It's
It's
just so
ignorant.
ignorant.
Republicans don't believe in democracy. They don't.
It's just so ignorant. Like,
Rule of the minority. It's their favorite thing. But yeah, I just wanted to note, just for you and me, our joy, that Massachusetts supremacy has angered Republicans.
finally. Because they really liked Massachusetts in
1776?
1774, 1775.
Yeah, they like it then. I think the seat of the Democrat Party should either be in Massachusetts or in, like, Chicago.
Yeah. If Massachusetts hadn't done what it did before we were a country, we wouldn't be a
Yeah,
country.
it's
like
there's
we are now.
certain places the Democrat Party should think to make their HQ. I'm thinking like rural Missouri. Anyway, we can go to Mark Cuban and AI, and then I got nothing else.
Mark Cuban right now.
Yeah, hit on Mark Cuban real quick. What did you have?
You may have seen that.
Yeah, he's making some rounds.
Yeah, he's making the rounds this week for some reason and stirring it up a little bit with Elon.
I think he called Trump and Elon gay, or something like that.
I'm not sure. I mean, he kind
I
of.
don't know if he said gay.
I don't know. I mean, he went into some things, but there was one point that I thought was especially interesting, and I thought maybe one of the better ones that he brought up. Talking about this idea of mainstream media, and
It leans right.
and he has this argument that the number one news station is Fox News. The number one influencer on the planet by 5 times over the next person is Elon Musk, who's a Trumpite. Like,
Yeah,
So-
100 full through and through.
right. And so
Twitter is a right-wing
the idea,
social media at this point, undeniably.
right. And that's where all the political talk happens. It's not happening on Facebook. Not in any, you know what I mean? It's like it happens on Twitter.
CNN would be the counter argument.
Mhm.
Publicly shifted right. It admitted that they were shifting right. They admitted after Tucker got fired,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're going to shift to the center and hire more right-leaning journalists
Mhm.
to appear more moderate.
Yeah.
So CNN,
Right.
their boogeyman,
Yeah.
shifted right.
Yeah. They're like trying to get to something.
Not like a behind the scenes. Like, they came out and were like, hey,
Right. And so the right, the conservative media is the mainstream media.
Yep. And I would say another
So-
argument, I want you to name just some of the biggest news and political commentators, regardless. Name a few, just a few handful.
Rachel Maddow.
Most influential,
Oh, influential.
the biggest. Not the ones that you watch, just the biggest people in politics and news. I think Elon.
Oh, yeah, sure. Elon, in terms of the people who talk about politics.
Yeah, people talk about news and politics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think MSNBC anchors, not enough people do. People who watch MSNBC do.
Yeah.
But it's not like they don't have the clout that like Fox News or Elon or Joe Rogan has at
Yeah.
all,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, those safe bases exist, but there's there's not a Charlie Kirk on the left. Not really. Doesn't really exist like that.
Yeah.
And people like him don't really exist.
Yeah.
In terms of
Not enough.
a left Elon is
Yeah.
Mark Cuban. And then
Yeah.
nobody. So
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
and so that doesn't exist. And there's no equivalent to Fox News. That does not exist.
Yeah. That's right.
Joe Rogan is on the right. Sorry, everybody.
Yep.
He's on the right.
He's the number one podcast. Yep.
No one comes close. Number 2 podcast, Tucker Carlson.
Mm-hmm. And number 3,
Haktua.
this week.
Haktua girl.
Haktua.
Number 4, Candace Owens. So
Yeah, they are the mainstream
they
media.
are the mainstream media now.
So on Twitter, anytime I see anybody say anything about mainstream media, I'm going to start to alter the discourse. I'm going to say, bitch, you guys are the mainstream media.
yeah, y'all have all the biggest people. And if they say yeah because everybody agrees with us, and I'm like, and that's what the mainstream media is, baby.
Mm-hmm.
When you got everyone on your side, you're the mainstream media.
Exactly.
Right? Like, okay, admit it.
Yep.
Sure, go ahead. I don't care. Admit that you are the mainstream media.
Let's make that argument from now on out when we
Agree.
can do it
When it's
on Twitter.
yeah,
Let's
Agree.
enter the public. What does Twitter call itself? It's the public
public forum.
of the world. It's the town center.
The new town square.
the new town
The,
square.
the global town square.
Yeah, the global town square, something like that. So, whatever they say.
I'll get on my soapbox and squeal
Yep.
like an idiot.
Everybody's allowed to.
Yep.
To stick a box and start. Talking.
Yep. So last thing I kind of want to touch on, because you're a large fan of AI.
I am plugged into the AI industry. Probably
So
a little more than
more
average.
my issue largely is AI art.
Yeah, AI art is an interesting.
I think a
area.
problem.
Yeah. Well, sure.
So I know you're not really a SpongeBob consumer.
Okay, but any.
I will show you this image. It is pertinent.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a Krabby Patty
Yeah. Okay.
competition. A trillion
Burgers.
and one.
Yeah.
The
Art making.
joke in the show is that those huge burgers are like gray paste inside. And SpongeBob's is like the greatest burger ever made.
Right.
That's the joke.
Yes.
It was a comment that I saw somewhere, but it was a comment on TikTok. And I think you will like this thought, this comment. AI accidentally proved the existence of the human soul by showing us what art looks like without one.
Mm.
And I've read that and I cannot put it better than that.
Yeah.
It accidentally showed us that the human soul exists
Mm.
because it showed us what art looks like without a human soul.
Yeah. That's cool.
That is very
That's
cool.
Yeah, I love that.
And so the larger issue is that AI art is objectively stealing art.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has to reference something.
It has
so
referenced something. And so, but that is a copyright infringement.
I get it.
So a lot of artists are mad.
But
and
does another artist who's drawing a picture reference another piece of art to influence their style? Probably. So
Yep, but
you know what I mean?
But then it filters through a human, not a machine learning algorithm,
Got it.
right? So
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, yeah.
So even if I look at you and reference something you did, it still has to filter through an original thought process.
For sure. For sure. It'll be interesting to see if somebody can legislate something
It's starting.
that will ultimately result in AI art becoming not really usable because it's so regulated.
Yeah, that's kind of starting to happen, or it was, and then the election happened, so they kind of stopped a lot of stuff.
I can get anything made on Gronk. So
It was happening. Yeah, Gronk is insane.
like I can get
Or Grok.
anything.
Yeah, Grok.
Grok, sorry.
Yeah, Grok's wild. Yeah, so I think it should be regulated. I guess I don't have an issue with like Chat GPT, whatever. My issue is that it just sources the internet,
Mhm.
and that's not exactly reliable.
Sure.
I like to source only specifically reliable shit.
What does
Chat GPT
Yeah, for
sources
sure.
the internet.
For sure. I think that the way that
I mean,
AI
it might favor places, whatever, in their algorithm.
the way that AI will end up, because you're absolutely
But I've
right.
heard teachers complain, for example, of like students using it and just being wrong. It just being wrong.
Sure.
And
yeah,
it's like,
of course. I mean, we're at the beginning of it. That's what people, if there's a tech that's invented and we kind of expect it to be great, like straight out of the gate, like the iPhone was. And
It's not even that it's great. It's just like it's making some things a little more efficient, but it's just I think it has largely done more. You could make the argument it's done more harm socially than it has done any good.
I mean, I just think that there's a lot more work before it becomes really, really great. So, but I think it can be really great. I think the way it becomes really great is whoever does it first or does it best, actually. I mean, it may end up being Google or Apple for all I know.
Yeah, that might end up winning that.
But like I'm talking eventually, but like eventually there's going to be AI that's plugged into only universities, only, you know what I mean? Like not just, the general
But even
internet.
that doesn't mean anything because you can have cranks come out of universities and say insane shit.
Sure, but like I'm talking to everything vetted,
Yeah.
by humans. Like it pulls. All
So then
the
why
material.
not just go to Google?
Yeah, but you can get.
So then what? So then you've just roundabout to complicated Google.
What it does is it'll get better to bring it all together, so I don't have to read 12 websites to kind of get the gist of everything. It read all 12 and it gave me the gist of everything.
Yeah.
So it's which 12 is it reading? And I think that's what companies are going to get better at, as to filter the internet, because I'm already, we're near dead internet with what
Yeah, we're already
these
having a
engines
huge
can
problem.
search.
Yeah, we're already at a problem.
So if they go out and crawl the whole internet, the whole internet is awful. But I can go pay for like some sort of reference thing on, like online. Like I can pay for some scholarly thing that I know is going to be a credible thing. That would be, a source that I know it's good. So I think once they get there, I think it'll be better. But right now, it's definitely not there. And it's everything you take out of GPT or anything else, you have to be like, all right, I'm not sure if that's a fact or not. And I'll have to go look it up and double check and make sure. I don't know that I'd get it. Like I would have it write a paper for me in its entirety.
Yeah, no.
But I like it to give some, basic instructions, and it spits me out a script for the podcast.
I guess there
10
are
seconds.
some things that it is helpful for. I think largely it is removing human elements from a lot of things that we didn't realize were valuable.
Yeah. I think
You even touched on the editing thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will never touch that.
Yeah.
Because it's removing I want a human to touch it.
Yeah.
I want a human to look at this thing.
Right. Like,
or if I want a paper, I want a human to write it.
The idea,
because it's so obvious.
Sure.
It's copying humans.
Yeah.
Only humans.
Right.
And it's clear as day.
Yeah, it's clearly AI.
When it's not a human.
Yeah.
I can tell it night and day.
Mm-hmm. You can tell.
So maybe it'll get better, but there's just something different when a human touches a thing versus no human touches the thing.
It's a little imperfect.
I don't want a perfect square. I want it to be touched by a human.
Yeah, that's like if you think about why does music sound better when Wilhelm Kempf is playing the piano
versus when a
robot plays it perfectly timed to the note, even though that's
because it has soul and spirit.
Soul. It's the same thing. It's just like the art thing that you said.
So I think,
but the idea of facts and being able to interact with that through AI, to me, to your point, needs a lot of work still.
Yeah.
But I think that can be useful.
I think what's going to happen is AI.
But to use it to replace artists, I don't know.
AI is going to have it's currently having a massive overvaluation in use in the world. And I think it's going to rebound completely the other direction to just a couple helpful things. It will just become like, I think they're adding it to the new iPhones and shit, and people are going to get annoyed. I really truly think people are going to get annoyed. I do not like that Google summary shit most of the time. Every now and then I'm looking for like a very specific answer. But I don't like the AI summary shit.
Right.
I don't. It's like I immediately skip it. I'm like, it's in my way. It's in my way. I'm trying to find the things I'm looking for.
Sure.
Right.
So I mean, if
it's like I need a stat for a thing, Maybe. But like I think it'll just have uses in much more niche.
So we have okay.
Does that make sense? Like
all right. So let me explain those niches.
The
then.
art of Googling
Yeah.
is not going to change.
Not anytime soon, for sure.
Not at all. Whatever
Yeah.
AI we're doing here, not touching it.
Yeah.
I truly think.
So
Maybe it'll have some uses
man, you sound like a boomer.
in other places. But I really just don't like AI
I'll give you an example.
or
of,
whatever this is.
Yeah. So these are large language models, and that's a small piece of what AI
Yeah.
is ultimately going to be. And so what you mentioned about like other kinds of AI and other industries and such. I'll give you one example, just a brief example.
Yeah.
AI is definitely going to revolutionize the whole thing, especially when the power, the computers get bigger and bigger and bigger and powerful, more powerful than they are now. It'll improve even more, but AI will be able to, as an example, in fact, I think that they're already working on it. You input everything that we know about the human body, all the reactions. This is what happens in the liver, hundreds of different kinds of reactions, and you stick methyl groups onto molecules, and this reaction goes to this, and you need this enzyme, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. All the medications that we administer to people have occurred by like a trial and error thing to sort of understand the mechanism and how it works and what it does in the body and, effects.
Yeah.
And when we want to invent a new drug, like let's say we want to target a specific area in a cell, we have to try hundreds of different compounds and structures to see which one works and which one doesn't, and we kill a lot of mice doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And monkeys or whatever else that we end up doing, even humans. And so right now they're working on plugging everything that we know about the human body into AI. AI will study all the dynamics of everything. Plus, AI will know everything about chemistry, top to bottom, is the smartest man that exists. Because that's just fact. That's math.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a calculator. But it'll have access to every reaction. You won't have to think through anything. It's kind of And so I'll say, I want a drug that targets this specific area in a cell, this specific hormone, this specific area of the brain, blah, blah, blah. And it'll be able to run through everything and spit out the molecules that will work and interfere the least in other areas, because it can also plug in for adverse effects in all the other receptors.
Yeah.
So you can do drug studies on
A little more
AI,
efficiently.
on an AI human. The AI will run a drug study on AI humans and let that...
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Well, no, but then it'll spit out a molecule that's most likely to work.
Oh, and then we go actually try it.
And then you go make that one.
And then you give that
you
one a
run
shot.
it through all the trials.
Okay.
Instead of the trial and error, like I'm going to go grab some grass, I'm going to grab some of that purple shit and let's see what works.
Yeah.
But rather,
I see.
a
Okay,
machine ran...
here's what we think is the best. Try it.
You got it.
All right.
But it will...
speed that process up.
I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
How
that sounds better. Let me. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Let me explain where I think we're headed with it as a whole. You've seen the movie WALL-E?
Yes, I have.
That's the direction. Let's assume we're on a line and it just is exponential. It just goes or linear, goes straight. That's where we're going.
Yeah.
I think it will make people lazy. Like, I don't want people to have Google summaries. I don't want you to have a summary.
Yeah.
I want you to have to read it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there
Yeah.
becomes certain drawbacks.
I understand.
You see what I mean?
If it gets too convenient.
If it's too convenient, it actually becomes an issue again.
If everything gets too convenient.
Yeah.
Yep, I get it.
You know what I mean?
If it's used as a tool to help advance what you're doing, that's different than...
It's different if it's aiding me in my search.
Right.
It becomes a problem when it's like, oh, you don't...
When it replaces
You're
search.
unable to do anything.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I see.
So I think it has...
I see. And people associate AI with this idea of like AI replaces a human. So there's like almost like the full expression of AI is like a robot that's like a humanoid. And it can wash dishes
I'm
and
not,
talk. You know what I mean?
Maybe some people think that. I don't think people think that. I mean, maybe in like the most uneducated sectors, maybe. But I mean, I'm being serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and across the table.
Yeah. Like, I'll give you an example of, I think, one idea. I don't even know why they're trying. I really don't think it'll ever work. Is AI self-driven cars.
Oh,
I just will never work.
Yeah.
You cannot make a computer model that can compute the way a human brain does.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking when I'm on the road most of the time.
Yeah.
My brain is perfectly responding
Yeah.
to all these situations. Like,
Right.
another
As long
clear
as you're paying attention.
a clear example for people.
Yep.
I can zone out in the car and not crash. People do that all the time.
For sure.
They're like, holy shit, how did I get to this light?
Yep.
Your brain's
Yep.
better to pay attention. But
Yep.
for example, let's pretend we had robots that were like perfectly equal to humans.
Hmm.
Like bipedal robots that like assumed you put like a clothes on and you could hide all the skin. You would know it's not a human.
Hmm.
You'll never have a robot or an AI model that can play basketball as good as a person can. LeBron is not doing math.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He is just,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Too complicated.
What you can do is you can make a robot that's faster and jumps higher and is
You
stronger.
can do that.
but you beat the human by strength and speed.
You will never-
not by intelligence.
by intelligence and computing power.
Yeah.
You can have a robot stand in the corner and shoot a basketball. We already have that.
Yeah.
Okay, but now you're going to get guarded. How do you pass? How do you move? You cannot math that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
For sure.
So things of that, people want that to happen. And I also think another problem is it will replace kind of a job that doesn't really need to be done by anybody. I argue never needed to be done by anybody in the first place. Not a real job, but we'll continue, right? We don't have a society that currently allows for that to be a thing. That makes sense. Like, it's not like a thing, like a technology that like, oh, we don't have people who need to build like carriages for horses. We need people who work on cars.
Hmm.
Those are adjacent fields.
Sure.
Adjacent. I mean, you need to train to go in a factory, but they're adjacent.
Yeah.
This is a thing that's like, oh, if you want, you're just don't have this work anymore, and to come back around to gain a job from it, you need to go to school for several years.
Yeah. Yep.
That doesn't work the same. You follow me?
Yeah. I think
Like when we lose one field to a new technology, you can sometimes replace a lot of that with that field,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
That is not easily as transitioned.
Yeah.
That doesn't quite work the same.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine you could teach a guy who like kind of maintains certain like power plants to work on a new type of power plant. I imagine you could probably transition some of that work.
Sure.
Oh, you work at a power plant. I need you to go sit behind a desk at Dell and code a learning algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that not a thing.
Right.
That ain't happening.
Right.
So we don't have a society that currently allows for the implementation of AI.
Yeah.
And AI will advance infinitely faster
Yeah.
than our society will in government and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Yep.
Like, we will have to have a UBI. We will have to have so many other things.
Yeah. I mean, I think AI will disrupt relationships long before we get to the point where AI becomes truly useful for an average human in their life.
I think
Like,
AI
see
will actually break so many other things along the way before it truly becomes like,
You're
oh,
gonna
this is a valuable thing I have here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to get probably within a year or two, like apps and stuff like that, or I'm sure it may even be like a plug-in in Snapchat and Instagram. But like, you'll be able to have like a person that I mean, obviously it's just an AI, but it will interact with you in a way that the language gets so natural and fast, and it learns you so well. I mean, it's already happening.
Snapchat did something like that,
That-
2 years ago.
Yeah, right. But it'll get so good.
This was like the first Chat
Yeah.
GPT models.
Like,
It'll get better.
It'll get so good that speaking to your robot on your phone is going to
replace your friend.
Well, it'll meet so many of your needs
Yeah.
that it'll be easier to become reclusive.
Yeah,
And
so-
I think that is going to be a problem long
I agree.
before a lot of these
Yeah.
other things.
I think it'll end up breaking a lot of things
Mhm.
before it begins to truly solve.
Solve other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to screw us up. It's going to screw a lot of us up because we're not ready for it. I mean, just a few hundred years ago, we were like
Communal.
hairless monkeys that
Yeah.
just learned how to farm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's not.
I mean, it's changed so much.
Yeah,
I mean, our
it's-
brains are plastic, but
we
I don't know
don't-
if they're that plastic.
No, not even children are probably plastic
You
enough
know
for
what
that.
I mean? It's
Well, there's
just
just certain things that
changing.
humans have to interact with other humans
Yeah,
in real life.
right.
Not, I mean, you can do,
A person gets pretty dysfunctional the more they lose human contact.
yeah,
Real human
and
contact.
you ready for it? There is not a replacement.
Yeah, there's
It-
not a
it-
replacement
it-
for that.
It does not exist.
But this mimics it so well.
That you won't notice the same way all the problems you're having.
Right. I mean, almost
Because
like
let's
a
say you
drug.
only
Almost
talk
like a
to
drug.
that AI thing for a month and then go out in the world.
I know. Then you're gonna be like, "What is wrong with all these people? I'm never going out again."
Yeah, it's gonna have
That worries me.
that
That
worries me as well.
me. Because this
Like
is never gonna
in my
hate on
perfect
you.
world. You know what I would want AI to do?
Mm.
How about nobody needs to be working in a factory?
like automate manual labor stuff.
Automate stuff and
Robotics plus
automate
AI
our economy.
is what you're getting. at.
Sure.
Like
And
they
then
kinda go together.
release humans to do what we
Creative
enjoy.
things.
Create.
Yeah, I saw a tweet or something.
Like, I don't want AI to be replacing artists.
right.
I want it to replace the
replace-
manufacturer
Yeah.
and let the manufacturer
All my desk job
go
crap.
do his dream.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We can, by the way, for everybody listening, we can live in that world.
Yeah. If we decide.
There is no reason, there's not a thing you can point to that we can't. We absolutely can.
Right. But how do you do that in a capitalist world? That's a story for another.
That is another
show.
problem.
That's a story for another show. Because how do we legislate AI? This is a whole show if we want it to be. How do we legislate AI?
How do you legislate it?
Yeah. No, don't even answer me.
Okay.
Because it's a gigantic answer.
It is a giant question.
Because there's so many different things in play. Even just like the art thing is one little subset. So, okay, so how do we legislate that?
That's a massive.
I mean, what's it look like? What's the law? What's the
Yeah.
the bones of the law? What's it say? Does that mean AI is not allowed to what?
Mhm.
I mean, do we just ban all AI art? Well, guess what? We can ban it in the United States, but that doesn't mean they're banning it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So there's so much to think through. Right? There's so much to think through about.
Yeah.
that.
There's
So-
a lot.
But I like the discourse and the thought about. Do we like where this is going?
It's not just some, it'll solve our problems.
Yeah, it needs to not be well, right. I mean, it's
I think-
naive to
I
think
th-
it's
I think-
so rosy.
Interestingly, I think people assume it to be, it'll take my burdens off me.
That's the end game.
I think, interestingly, people think of where capitalism would get in the way. It's going to fix that. I've heard a lot of that, actually.
capitalism will fix that.
AI will fix it. Fix
Oh.
these things that capitalism won't allow AI to fix.
Oh,
You follow
interesting.
me? Like where we just release humans to be creative.
Yeah,
Capitalism won't really allow for that at the moment.
yeah, not right now.
Certainly not now.
I mean, it turns off economies when you
Yeah, certainly not now, right?
don't have workers and
So, but people think it's going to do that for us. So, interestingly, I think
we are living in a crazy ass
people,
time.
I think, want it to do the capitalism thing.
Mhm.
Surprise! It's ran by capitalists. It's not going to do that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yep.
AI will not release you from the pain you feel that can be correctly identified as capitalism. You have to release yourself. You, the collective. But
You-
you
the
understand what I'm talking
people.
about. You, not the AI won't do it for you.
Mm-mm. It'll be there to consume like everything
You
else.
and your
is.
buddies got to do it.
It'll be there to consume like everything else is.
Mm-hmm. I like how we ended it on. We're clearly hinting towards a capitalism v socialism show or episode.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a good one.
It'll be a clip,
That'll be a clip.
but we'll cut it for next week.
Yeah, or not.
Well, you'll divide this into two. So
Yeah, not even next week because you're not here.
Yeah, not this immediate week. I have a
Yeah, so
visit.
we'll have to
I'll
stretch.
be in DC, but
Yeah, we'll have to stretch it.
Yeah.
I won't be in DC.
yeah, I'll be in DC.
You'll be in DC. So maybe we'll get something.
It'll be the week after.
I don't know how to close this thing.
Oh,
Hey,